Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Would you rather have a B that you earned or an A that you stole?
I'd rather have the A.
The pressure to succeed.
I'm going to show you some of the latest cheating techniques that kids are using.
It's causing some students
Kids have resorted to drugs like Adderall. I use it as a study tool.
to do whatever it takes.
What do you tell your kids about cheating?
I tell them that life is a gray area.
I can't believe my ears. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. We ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. We're going to start the show today a little differently because we had an audience experiment. Okay? And this was, you guys all went through something. You didn't know it was an experiment, but it was. Before the show, we had our audience answer a questionnaire to test their knowledge of the Dr. Phil show for a chance to win a very special prize. But what they didn't know is that we were watching their every move. We wanted to see what people were willing to do to win when they think no one is looking. Take a look.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Phil Show. My name is Jessica, and I worked on one of the shows you're going to see today. And you're really lucky you came today because we are doing a quiz for Dr. Phil's biggest fan. So what we're going to do is have you guys go into these booths over here, and you're going to get a card like this with a quick quiz about Dr. Phil and the show. There's 5 questions on here, and the first person to get all of the questions right that we draw out of the box is going to win a really special prize.
We posted a sign for the contest, and it clearly read, only 1 entry per person and no third-party help. Now, most people came in and gave it their best shot. And what is going on here? She appears to be taking an extra test with her, folding it up tightly and putting it in her purse. And what do we have here? A cheat sheet. I wonder if they were working together. Ah, and this young man. Oh, technology. All the answers right at your fingertips. And that's what we caught on tape. Okay. Now, does anybody want to fess up? Stand up. You what?
I didn't see the slot where you put the card on the top of the box. So I thought you were supposed to open it. And I thought, yeah.
Okay, stand. Are you know him? Yeah. Here, stand up. Do you know this young man?
Yes.
And you've known him for 100% of his life?
Yeah, 17
100% of his life. Uh-huh.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, well, all right, have a seat. Now, anybody else want to fess up? I got more tape. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about cheating. Now, obviously, this is a small thing. This is like a white lie. But it can get very serious. But we did use you guys as guinea pigs. So just as a thank you, I want to give everybody in the audience a $50 gift certificate to California Pizza Kitchen. Okay? You get to park the car. And you get $100 because you're going to need it. Are you a cheater? Is it cheating to lie to your boss and take a sick day for a day off? How many of you have called in sick when you weren't? Raise your hand. getting your child to lie about their age for a discount. Now, he's pointing at you now. So, did you corrupt this young man at the movies?
Don't believe him, Dr. Phil.
Is it cheating to keep the change if a clerk gives you the wrong amount of change? How about borrowing a handicap sign for a better parking spot? But let's talk about cheating in school. Cheating to win a contest. I want you to meet my first guest who did exactly that and got caught in a very high-profile way.
The teaching career of 43-year-old Jerry Flecky is in serious doubt tonight. Flecky, who resigned as coach of the controversial Steinmetz academic decathlon team last week, is now suspended from his teaching job as well because he admitted that he directed his team members to cheat during a competition last year.
Cheating is a serious infraction in any educational institution, and it's something that I will not tolerate in this system.
It seems as if people are questioning our morals.
The charges of cheating stem from a member of last year's Steinmetz team. Former team captain Angela Lamb admits she was given the answers to questions on a super quiz by her former coach, Jerry Flecky.
Now I hope a larger message is spread that integrity and morality are more important than winning a contest.
Okay, now, is there any question that you cheated?
No.
So you cheated? You knew you were cheating when you cheated?
Yes.
Okay, you got a copy of the test, right?
We got a copy of the test questions, yes.
And a group of you looked them up, memorized the answers, went in and aced it.
Yes.
Did you win?
Yes.
Really? Okay, and this was a competition with other schools?
Yes.
Okay, and y'all won for the first time ever, right?
Right.
How'd you get caught?
One of our team members had a guilty conscience and confessed.
Just outed the whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And when you found out that you had been ratted out, did you panic?
No. No, we were upset, to say the least, with him. But, no, we didn't panic because it was his word against ours.
Oh, so you then lied on top of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So he said it, and you guys stuck together?
There were 9 of us who stuck together.
And called him a liar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he did the right thing and told the truth. So in addition to cheating...
But then he went back and changed his story again. When he confessed, and he wrote an essay, he confessed, we said, no, he's crazy. Then he said, oh, no, it was just fiction. So he changed his story again. So the 9 of us stuck together and just never admitted it. Well, eventually it got blown out of proportion because really it wasn't quite as big of a deal as it turned into. And they brought in lawyers, and after threatening deportation to one of our team members, someone else confessed to cheating.
So the one who told the truth and was called a liar now had someone to corroborate it.
Right.
So now you were caught.
Right.
All right. When we come back, I'm going to ask her how she feels about that now and what she says to her kids about cheating. I think you may be shocked at the answer. You got caught. Lawyers got involved. The victory was taken away. People were impacted. Are you sorry about this?
No, not really.
So you have no remorse about this whatsoever?
No, not really, other than getting caught.
Wow. So tell me how you justify this in your mind. Because if I'm a student at one of these other schools, and I'm over there studying and not going out on weekends and staying up late at night and drilling and taking notes and figuring everything out, and then you waltz in there with a copy of the answers, I really feel cheated. It's not that you cheated the test. If I'm that kid, you cheated me.
Well, first, we didn't have a copy of the answers. We had a copy of the questions. No, that makes a world of difference because you actually have to know the answers then. We did not ace the test. We got stuff wrong. You're never going to be perfect. Unless you get a copy of the answers, you're not going to be
Well,
perfect.
you got it so right that it was statistically impossible to have scored that well.
But if you compare my test scores, not my team's, but my test scores that I got on the state championship to the test scores that I had been pulling all along, my scores were on par. So it's not...
I can't believe my ears.
No.
You're seriously trying to justify this is okay because you had to go look up the answers? That's like you go buy a lottery ticket and they say, well, you got to come around here and see what the right answers are before you fill it out.
Well, you asked
I had to walk back there.
You asked me why I didn't feel guilty, and I'm trying to tell you why.
Because you had to look up the answers.
Well, we had to work together to figure out the answers.
You had the questions.
We did.
Was it an unfair advantage?
No, because we believe that another school who won for 15 years undefeated also had the questions for 15 years.
What do you tell your kids about cheating?
I tell them that life is a gray area. I tell them that every decision you make, you have to weigh the consequences either way.
Really?
Really.
So if they cheat, you're okay with that as long as they understand they could get caught?
Well, my problem with what we're talking about is cheating in school. And my problem with cheating in school is that when you go out into the real world, they're not going to put you in a room and say, here, do this task. Don't talk to anyone. Don't look anything up. Do it in an isolated situation. Every day we go to work and we have a boss to ask questions to. We have colleagues.
What if you're the boss?
The boss always has a boss.
What if you're the head engineer and I'm driving across the bridge you just built?
And that head engineer worked with lots of other people to get that done, didn't he?
We'll be right back. Jerry Marconi, the Cook County prosecutor that was involved in this case at the time, is joining us by Polycom. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us. You prosecuted this. You were the one involved at the time this happened, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you've been listening to Jolie's comments here saying, hey, it wasn't really that big a deal. And I'm paraphrasing what you said, but you said it wasn't really that big a deal. I don't feel like we had an unfair advantage, et cetera, right? What do you say about that, Jerry?
Well, I would ask her, what about the thousands of other people who were embarrassed and their reputations were tarnished because a group of 10 people decided to cheat on a competition? This didn't affect her. It affected a lot of people. It affected an entire city because there were a lot of people that stuck up for this team initially and then later were proven wrong because it turned out that they were all cheaters.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to that? That the people at your school were embarrassed because now their school's been painted with a black brush, and the community that stood up for you then had egg on their face?
Unfortunately, that happened, and I'm sorry for anyone who feels like we betrayed them. But, Mr. Marconi, I remember being in that office with you. I suggest you watch very carefully what you say.
You lied to me. You told me you didn't cheat, and I believed you.
Do you have a bleep button so I can quote what he called me in that office?
Yeah, I have a bleep button. What did he call you?
Mr. Marconi, do you remember telling me that I was a bitch and that I was the ringleader and I better confess?
Absolutely not. I looked you in the eye and you told me you didn't cheat, and I believed you the first time.
You are so full of it.
Your principal was sitting right next to me when I was speaking to you.
You're right, because my mother should have been there, but you guys assured me that it wasn't necessary to have her there.
So, did he cheat?
I was a minor at the time.
Did he cheat you?
Did he cheat me?
Yeah. Did he mislead you? Did he give you false information?
No.
I mean, because you're describing yourself as a victim, like he misrepresented things to you, which would be cheating.
Mr. Marconi and I, he likes to play the good guy, and he's not always forthcoming.
You embarrassed an entire school. You tarnished the reputation of a school. You now have to go through life being the star of a movie called Cheaters. And when your kids ask you, well, Mom, why is this movie called Cheaters? You have to tell them, because I was a cheater. I'm the star of this movie. Now, why would you be proud of something like that?
Are you concerned about your kids?
Not at all.
So you're not concerned about them knowing that you cheated?
Not at all.
You're concerned about knowing you got caught cheating?
That's the embarrassing part.
If you went to school and one of your kids had got caught cheating in the 5th grade, what would you say to them?
I would ask them why.
Why what?
Why did they cheat?
And?
Why did you cheat?
Because we wanted to win.
But here's the thing. Is it really a win if you didn't actually achieve, you didn't master it? I mean, like I play tennis almost every day. And if somebody wins by calling a ball out that was really in, I mean, did they really win? I mean, did they really step up to the challenge, put their skills up against an opponent, and come out on top because they played a better game, a smarter game, a higher skill level game? Did they really win, or did they just, I mean, if you're going to do that, just go down to the sporting goods store and buy a trophy. Engrave your name on it and put it up on the shelf and say, yeah, look at that. U.S. Open.
But if you go in and you play doubles with someone and the other person believes going in that they're going to lose. They believe going in they're going to lose. They suck. I'm no good at this. I don't even know. Oh, all right, I'll go play. And you know that they're capable of winning. And you know you're capable of winning. Do you sit there and go, yeah, you suck, or do you give them every advantage you can to get them to believe that they can win?
Not if it is, okay, here's the deal. Every time they hit a ball, we're going to call it out. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. Your question doesn't even make sense. You're saying you were just pumping these other 9 up by saying, hey, come on, we can do this. We have the questions and we looked up the answers. I mean, did you take pride in the win?
To a point. It wasn't as victorious for me as the previous ones.
Because you cheated on this one?
Because I knew that we could have done it without the test.
Huh. Jerry, what do you want to say?
Well, I think it's nothing but a fraud. And I think as soon as you start engaging in frauds, where do you draw the line? I mean, if you learn to do this in high school and it's no big deal, well, what happens when you get that first job? And like you said earlier, you lie in your resume. Guess what? You're going to get fired. You may lose a career. You can cheat on your taxes. You could cheat on your mortgage application. But then in the consequences for that is possible prison.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today throughout the show, Jerry. You're going to be pleased to know, because the statistics are that kids are cheating more and more every year. And parents, you need to know what's going on here. Whatever it takes for an A, even if it means taking drugs that put your brain on super high speed, it could be happening to your kids. We're going to talk about all of that when we come back.
Cheated. Copying homework is really popular, I know. So many friends and even people I don't know have been coming up to me and asking if they can purchase my Adderall from me.
Maybe I'm not ready at 17 to make the choice of what I want to do with the rest of my life.
You would like to possibly do a gap year or maybe do a community service program instead and then go to college. And I think I'm having issues with it. How do you still support that?
That's a good question.
How do you move through this? Deep down inside, I don't want her to go. And she's picking up on that. I'm afraid.
You make it less about you, more about her, and you get in her balcony and you be her loudest fan. Okay. So what'd you decide? Did you go to college?
I am going to be a freshman at Boulder in a matter of a couple days. So.
In a matter of a couple of days?
Couple days, yeah.
All right. Are you concerned about it? Is there pressure?
I mean, there's obviously pressure. It's a new school, a new area, new people, and I think in order to just get used to that and then do really well, there's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah. And you know, there is an awful lot of kids abusing medications.
Right.
Some that they have by prescription, some that they get from their friends. And we wanted you to kind of ask some of your friends, some people about this. So we sent you out on a little bit of a mission to do some investigative reporting, right?
Yes.
Let's see what we found.
I'm going to talk to a couple of my friends about the pressures they face with school and the ways in which they cope with them.
I think it's just really easy to cheat these days because everyone has an iPhone or a BlackBerry, and there's so many search engines built onto the phone that if you don't know an answer to a question on a test, it's really easy to just type in the question and know the answer in 10 seconds.
I know a lot of girls, if they're wearing skirts, they'll write answers on their thigh and then during the test hike up their skirt and just look, because if you think about it, a teacher looks like a creep. You can't really look as a teacher, so it's kind of a secret way to get away with it. Super sneaky. It's a good one.
I've definitely cheated. Copying homework is really popular, I know.
I think that's the reason why a lot of kids have resorted to drugs like Adderall and Ritalin. I am actually prescribed Adderall. And so, for me, I use it as a study tool. So many friends and even people I don't know have been coming up to me and asking me if they can purchase my Adderall from me. And, I think that's really, really showing of the pressures that our society now puts on us as high schoolers.
Okay, were you surprised at what you found out?
No, I wasn't.
Why?
I think I went to a public high school, and not only is it so competitive, especially now with the economy, all of a sudden people can't afford schools, so everyone's competing not only for the same schools, but for UCs. So that means you're competing on the same quiz, the same test, the same final. The pressure is definitely on an all-time high.
Okay, now you're Tasha, right?
Yes.
And you say you'll do anything to get a good grade.
Not will do, but have done.
Have done anything to
yes.
get a good. Let's talk about what that means.
Drugs. I am completely against drugs, but I have used them for purposes of studying.
What'd you take?
I've done Ritalin and Adderall. I've snorted lines, actually, which it's gotten to the point where I was taking so many pills and it was not allowing me to focus any longer. It was not keeping me awake. So I actually went to the extent of sniffing them, so it affected me faster. And actually,
so you were doing this to stay awake?
Yes. Like I said, I did not use these drugs for recreational purposes. It was all for studying, and it literally came to the point where I would be up all night studying for finals, and unless I took Adderall, I could not stay awake. I would pass out in the middle of the final. So it really came to the point where I had no other option but to use drugs.
Were you ever worried about that?
I'm extremely worried. Like, a lot of people say that taking these drugs is cheating, but think about it. Like she said, we are competing for these top UCs, and the money is just ridiculous right now. The economy is so down, no one has money. We are competing against the smartest people in the world, and when we've been studying all day and we still feel unprepared for that final in the morning, what are you going to do? You're going to cheat. You're going to take that drug.
Where does this pressure come from?
Parents, professors,
I think ourselves,
other
too.
students, yeah, ourselves. I know me personally, my brother-in-law and sister who raised me a good portion of my childhood are both UC Berkeley graduates. My sister was a valedictorian. I have a huge amount of pressure on me to do well because of them, but also, like she said, because of us. We have goals ourselves that we want to reach, and when we can't reach those goals, it's depressing.
What have you done besides take drugs?
I've studied my butt off, cheat sheets. I'll write down notes on a piece of paper, and I'll just slide it under my essay and then kind of just flip under and look at the answers as I'm doing my test. I've done cell phones plenty of times, texting people, hey, what's the answer to this? Or going online on my phone and Googling the answer. There's so many ways to cheat.
But that's cheating.
It's cheating, but like I said, when I was up all night, imagine, okay, I took a final. I get home from school, I'm studying all day, I'm studying all night, I don't get a single hour of sleep. Not a single hour. I get up in the morning, I'm done studying, I've got to head to school, I'm like, I haven't showered, I haven't slept, and I'm still not prepared for this test. And I'm literally running off no sleep, and I'm high off Adderall. But I'm still not prepared. And I'm not going to go into that test unprepared, so I'm going to write down on a cheat sheet. I'm going to be prepared for that test.
Do you cheat?
What do you define as cheating? I copy homework, but I think everyone does that. There's a lot of busy work in high school.
That's, I think, the biggest thing, at least that even in talking to people that I saw, is homework. Because now teachers, parents, everyone pushes now the sleep thing. You need 8 hours of sleep every night. Okay. Now, most people do after-school activities. You get home around 6. At my high school, you take about 7 classes. Each class requires about an hour and a half of homework every night. How am I supposed to do all of my homework? And a lot of times, personally, that I've found, it's not homework that's helpful, it's busy work. How am I supposed to do all that, get my full sleep, and be ready to go to school the next day? It's hard.
When we come back, I'm going to show you some of the latest cheating techniques that kids are using. And I got to say, if they would put as much energy into the material, maybe, as they do these really innovative cheating techniques. I mean, these are smart kids. We'll be right back. All right, today we're talking about cheating, and the truth is that it is becoming more and more rampant. Now, some students will tell you that this is because there's no choice. There's just no choice. There's so much work, they just have to do it. And I wanted to look at some of the techniques that kids are coming up with. They remove the label and then scan answers to a test on the computer, put this through the printer, and they get the information with answers. So they sit in class, take a little drink, pull the label back, and go, blah, 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 blah. Have you all ever done this? You've done this?
That's funny. I've seen something like that done, but never actually done anything like that. That's really creative. I can't believe I've never thought of that. I need to use that one.
This is not a seminar. Okay, a pen. I mean, you got to have a pen, right? But the fact is, they take the pen, put paper inside the pen with answers on it, and when nobody's looking, just unroll it, and there it goes. Eraser, just simple eraser, right? But they open the eraser, paste the answers inside on the underside of the eraser, and then put it right back. Band-Aid, because you've been injured. But on the white portion of the Band-Aid, you can write everything that you want to know. Calculator programs that you use when you're doing math work, right? But these have memory functions, so you can put it in there, and if anybody walks up, you just hit the clear button and it's gone, and they don't know the code to pull it up. Glue stick, they just cut a square out of the label and put the answers in its place, then reassemble the label, turn the glue stick so they can view the answers in the back. Unbelievable. Now, Chris is here. Chris, you're a teacher. Are you a policeman as well?
I think something to add into the debate is our school year. Since No Child Left Behind, the school year, more is expected of the kids, but our school year is no longer. We're expecting more, but we're given no more time. As much as I love my summer vacation, it's probably a detriment to the kids. And they're competing. They're talking about competing against kids sitting in the next seat, but you're also competing against kids in other countries that go 20 and 30 more days of school a year. That's something else we need to think about as well.
Yeah, and isn't it true? I've always wondered, because when I was going to school, we had like a full 3 months off. And I guarantee you, by the time I went back to school in September, my brain was mush. I mean, I wasn't reading at the level I was reading at before. Because I just use it or lose it, right?
And I saw that when I taught younger kids at elementary school, where you're doing the reading levels very specifically, you really see it. So whatever they left in June, they came back in September about 6 months behind. So not only did you lose the summer, but you lost September just catching up to where they were in June. I mean, we're losing a lot of school time.
But are teachers putting these kids in a no-win situation by assigning work they cannot possibly physically, logistically get done?
Absolutely. In fact, I give less and less homework knowing what other people are giving. Because and really, giving more homework doesn't make you a great teacher. It just means you've taken the responsibility and you've pushed it on at home. I thought, well, I can do it in the room. I'm pretty good at this now.
Well, Rich Jark is here, and he's the executive director of the Josephson Institute on Ethics. Are we seeing more cheating now, or is it just more apparent?
We're seeing a lot more now. We do a study every 2 years, and every year it goes up a little bit. 64% of the respondents in the survey said they cheated on a test in the last school year.
64%?
Yes.
Okay, and Jolie, that's what you're saying. You're saying you better cheat or you're not going to compete. And you're saying 64% are cheating. Why is this happening?
Well, some people feel, as the young lady said, it's the pressure that they feel from their parents and from their peers. But a lot of it is the indifference of the school. And the schools, that you could ask them, if they get caught, they're not going to get punished. So, in essence, what you allow, you encourage.
I read a report recently, and you may know this or not, that said 80% of the students in Who's Who among American students, maybe college students, said at some time along the way they had significantly cheated. Does that shock you?
It doesn't shock me because we also do an adult survey, and what we found is that the adults who admit to cheating also admit that they cheated when they were in high school. So there's a high correlation. Cheating in high school, cheating as an adult.
Yeah. Okay. Bria, you say you've never cheated, and this frustrates you.
It does. It frustrates me a lot, especially because when I was in high school or even middle school, I had some learning disabilities, and so that was really frustrating, like growing up, and then also being in college and having worked on a paper for 2-3 weeks, meeting with the professor, going through dual diligence to try to make sure that my paper is an A paper, and then having somebody be able to take Adderall just a night before and get it all done and get, you know, maybe an A- on the paper.
But Rich, she's in the minority here.
That's correct.
We're talking 36% don't cheat.
Right.
So what do we do with this?
What we have to do is, one, we have to start invoking consequences when people do cheat, and we actually have to try to get our students developing a stronger value system and understanding the importance of not cheating.
But that has to happen beginning at home.
Yeah. Home and very young in school.
I'm big on education. It served me well, obviously. But we've always told our boys, and I encourage them to study and hope, we always told our boys, I would much rather you make B's in school and have a life and have friends and play sports and travel around and make an A in life instead of necessarily an A in school, make B's. That would be fine. And I have to say, our youngest is just graduating from USC right now. Our oldest graduated from the University of Texas and in SMU Law School. And both of them are very successful in their lives. And we never said, you know, if you don't make an A, you're in trouble. And there were kids. I mean, you pull up in carpool. My kid's an honor student at the Acme School. Yeah. And I wanted to put one on and said, well, my kid has personality.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, so I shouldn't work myself as hard. But, like, that needs to be said to the professors. That needs to be said to the parents. They need to stop putting the pressure on their students like this. It's way too much, Dr. Phil. Like, I literally want to rip out my hair sometimes.
No, I agree, but I'm telling you, but you're old enough now that you have to moderate and modulate the amount of pressure you put on yourself. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Who was the valedictorian in your mother's class?
My mom, and then my sister also was.
And your sister was valedictorian.
Yes. See, that's the thing. There's a line of success in my family that I feel I need to live up to. There's so much, like my brother-in-law is a lawyer. My sister is going to grad school right now at UC Berkeley. She's a social worker. Like, there's so much success in my family that I feel I need to live up to. And if I don't, I feel like
But it depends on how you define success. And if success is the grade that's assigned to you by somebody who's measuring your rote memory and regurgitation of material defines your self-worth, then you've given your power away in an unreasonable way. All right, look, this starts really early in life. There are 3-year-olds that have to test and interview for prep schools. Now, I mean, this is just to get into kindergarten or preschool. Now, we have a granddaughter right now that's 5 months old, and so I've really been paying attention to this. We'll be right back. How early does it start where we're putting pressure on kids to perform? Now, Liz is joining us via Polycom from New York. Now, she owns the mommy website called Divalicious.com. And you have a very young child, correct?
I do.
How old? 3?
He's 3.
Okay, now you purchased a program that's called Aristotle Circle. Is that right?
That is correct.
Now, tell us what that is and tell us why you did it.
It is a program that helps your children prepare for the ERB tests, which in New York City, if you live here, your child needs to take that in order to get into preschool and or kindergarten in New York City, as well as some of the free public schools, the Talent and Gifted programs.
Has your son taken the test yet?
Not yet.
Have you seen improvement in his dialogue, his answers, his performance in some way?
I am practicing with him little by little, and I am seeing a little bit of an improvement day by day with the fun and the playfulness that we're having with the test.
Okay, so you don't think he would make it without it, or you just wanted to have every advantage you could get? I mean, what was your motive to do it?
My motive for doing this, for buying this practice test, is that I absolutely think 100% that he will do just fine if I did not have this little prep, but I just wanted to help just prepare him and ease the anxiety, because I feel that it's scary for a 4-year-old to have to go in for the first time and take a test by themselves, that they've never had to take a test before.
Now, Suzanne is here. She's CEO and founder of Aristotle Circle. Suzanne, you have a lot of critics of this program. You have a lot of adherents. You have a lot of people that really like this because they've used it, but there are critics of it. What do you have to say about the program?
Well, first of all, I'm a mother of 2 young children, and I think it's only natural for a parent to want the best education that you can have, for your children.
How much does the program cost?
That depends on what they have. So a workbook can be $500 to prepare for a test. The test itself costs over $500. And tutoring in a lot of the big cities can be anywhere from $100 an hour up to even sometimes $800 an hour. In the city,
$800 an hour to tutor a 3- or 4-year-old kid to take a test?
$800 an hour would be more for some of the SAT tutoring. We work with a lot of older children. But again, the test itself costs over $500. But actually, we have partnerships. I have a Dream Foundation and lots of other nonprofit people that help children.
Does it work?
It does work, yes. Absolutely. Little prep goes a long way, just like in SATs. If your child is going to take the SAT, now over 75% of children who take the SAT have preparation for it.
But is that unfair to parents that don't have $500 and $100 or $150 an hour for a tutor, so their kid's just showing up down there with a dirty face saying, I'm just a 4-year-old kid? I ask because I went to public schools the whole way. I mean, I got in a cattle car and rode up there and went into the public schools, and it was probably geared to the least, and we had to kind of seek our own level and figure it out and make it through. And, I dress myself every morning. I operate a motor vehicle. I get to work. I did okay.
Right. Well, I mean, my father grew up in the housing projects in Boston, and his life was transformed by education when he went to MIT on a full scholarship. And I just saw how much his life was transformed, and I want to make sure I provide the best opportunity for my children as well, give them the best education possible. And many times it is a public gifted and talented program, and it's unfortunate that children so young are getting tested because these IQ tests are not really valid. As a young child, you can score really highly and still... There's no, how a child performs well at 4 years old is no indicator of who's going to Harvard. It's not even an indicator of who's going to perform well in first grade.
So everybody doesn't misunderstand, Liz. You spend 10 or 15 minutes a day. You're not hotboxing this kid. You're not spending a bunch of time with him. You're doing this in a play-like fashion, and you're doing it 10 or 15 minutes a day.
Correct.
I mean, that's the right way to do it if you're going to do it. We'll be right back. Okay, we've been talking to our viewers on Twitter while this show was going on, and some of them sent some tweets even before the show, because we said, have you ever cheated in school, sports, or at work? And if so, why did you do it? One of them said, I cheated at work by spilling a roach into a hamburger to get a coworker fired. She deserved it. Another one said, I cheated in school because I wanted to be as smart as my older brother. But do you get that cheating doesn't make you smarter? It just means you got a grade that you didn't earn. And if you're on drphil.com right now, you'll see how your own cheating compares to other viewers. It's really very interesting, and you can do this anonymously. So I'll be tweeting about the results right after the show. You wanted to say something, because you've been you've just been shaking your head.
It's a frustrating situation because I'm in college now, and I know what it's like to be pressured. I know what it's like to want to get the good grades and to make our parents proud and just to be proud of ourselves in general. But at the end of the day, you're left with your integrity. And so, I mean, you can be a smart cheater, you can be a successful cheater, but you're still a cheater.
Let me ask you something, Kayla. Would you rather have a B that you earned or an A that you stole?
I would rather have the B.
And how about you?
I'd rather have the A.
You'd rather have the A that you stole instead of the B that you earned? Wow. Let me ask the audience, would you rather have a B that you earned? Raise your hand. Or an A that you stole? All right, you guys. I knew you were trouble from the beginning. All right, thanks for being here today. So long. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Bruce, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, her fake pregnancies made headlines.
Accused of swindling by posing as a would-be surrogate mother.
You got old ultrasounds of your children?
Yes.
As proof of your pregnancy?
I did.
She scammed this couple out of thousands.
I wanted to kill that woman.
You didn't pay them back all the money.
Because I can't get a job.
Now, for the first time since they battled in court, they'll face off.
After 5 months, I'm told there is no baby. I wanted to tell you, but you didn't.
I have no forgiveness for you.
How long do I have to be punished for this?
You destroyed our lives. You lying bitch.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, Peter and Shania say they thought fellow Christian Audrey was the answer to all their prayers when they met her on a surrogacy website. Audrey said she was a married mother of 4, a nurse, and successfully carried 3 other babies for another couple. So they agreed to pay Audrey $10,000 to carry their miracle baby. But their dream turned into a nightmare 5 months later when Peter got a call from police informing him that Audrey was not pregnant and the only thing she was carrying was their cash. In fact, in a story that ended up making headlines, swindling surrogate mom arrested for faking pregnancies, authorities claim Audrey lied about being a surrogate just to scam Peter and Shania out of thousands of dollars.
Audrey now sitting in an Oregon jail accused of swindling by posing as a would-be surrogate mother.
I am asking for $10,000. Thanks and God bless.
It was the God bless that convinced Shania, a deeply religious woman, to agree to pay her to serve as a surrogate mother to bear the child the couple had always wanted.
Something that my wife always dreamt of.
The couple say they took every precaution. They signed a contract. They did a thorough background check on her.
I don't know what more we could have done.
The couples exchanged more than 100 emails and phone calls who investigators say never got pregnant with anyone's baby.
Well, Peter and Shania are understandably furious with Audrey and say she is evil for dashing their dreams of ever having their own child.
My wife and I were scanned by Audrey when she faked that surrogacy with us. She's a very evil woman.
Audrey had told me that she had been a surrogate for a gay couple 3 times in the past. She even sent me pictures of the family. There, I believe, were 2 Caucasians and 1 was African American. The pictures were confusing because both of the fathers were white. It was a red flag, but I just ignored it.
We did a background check on Audrey, and we still got nailed.
That night at the hotel, we discussed transferring the specimen from Peter.
Audrey gave us a sterile specimen jar. We didn't see the kid. I didn't want to be in the room while that happened.
About 21 days after we had met, Audrey had sent me a picture of the pregnancy tests. Audrey kept putting off the ultrasound.
We always had to call her. She never once called us.
I wanted a baby so badly, and I believed 100% in my heart that she was pregnant with our child.
I got a call from a police officer. She says, I hate to tell you this, but there is no baby. This is a scam.
I was devastated, shocked, in denial that there was no baby.
To see my wife break down like that, I wanted to kill that damn woman. I am still angry at her for scamming us.
Well, I'm glad to meet y'all, but sorry for the circumstance. I mean, this is obviously terrible.
Yes, it is.
You were desperate to have a child.
Yes, I was.
I mean, this is something this, particularly you really wanted to do this.
Yes, badly.
When you found her and made the arrangement, this was like huge hope to you, right?
I felt excited that my dream was going to finally come true.
She was on top of the world.
But from the beginning, and I know you shared with us the emails, and Shania's reply to Audrey's surrogacy ad, you replied to it in April, and you said, we are looking for a traditional surrogate to bring us our miracle baby. And any information regarding costs you can give us would be greatly appreciated. And she responds, right?
Yes, she did.
And she says, I'm asking for $10,000, $2,500 to be paid immediately as a retainer. And she signs off, thanks, and God bless.
God bless was like she was a Christian.
Simple as it sounds, but that meant something to both of you, right?
It did, very much so, because I felt I was a Christian and she was a Christian, and I believed everything she said. I had complete 100% faith in her.
So 2 days later, you reach out to her again, and you kind of raise an issue that becomes prophetic. You say, I've been strung along by 2 scammers so far. Mm-hmm. We now live in a world that is so full of scammers and prey on the very vulnerable people. And she responds back to you about that and says, I'm so sorry to hear you dealt with scammers. They kind of ruin it for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you agree to meet, and there's no lawyers involved here.
No lawyers.
No lawyers involved, just you, her, and you meet for dinner at a hotel.
And before that, we had, background check done.
She said she was a nurse. You verified that.
And we verified that she was an actual nurse. She had a nursing license and everything.
The background check was pretty cursory, though, right? I mean, there's not a lot you can check, but
no.
So you pretty much just verified that she was who she said she was, that she was a nurse, she was registered, which is important information to know. I mean,
right.
So you meet at this hotel, and that's where you do the deal. Mm-hmm. You pay her the money.
Yeah.
You sign a contract that she provided.
Right. Surrogacy contract.
And she showed up in her nursing scrubs. So.
Yeah, and has a cup, a specimen cup.
Specimen cup.
And you give her the specimen. She says, I'll do the transfer right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you run it. You run the transfer tour.
Yeah, I did that twice that night.
So 21 days later, bingo.
Right.
Yeah. She's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Well, you got an email from Audrey that just said, hey, congratulations, right?
Yes.
In fact, that's what it said. Congratulations, exclamation point, or congratulations, exclamation point, because it was pink and blue. Said, I didn't know if I should use pink or blue. Good people deserve good things. God bless, smiley face. And attached were pictures of positive home pregnancy tests.
Yep.
I was ecstatic. We are going to have a baby.
And as high as it went, it all came crashing down.
Yes, it did.
Peter and Shania have not seen the woman who scammed them since they were in the courtroom almost 5 years ago. But she is here. She's going to join us right here on stage when we come back.
I never intended on getting pregnant. They brought Peter's specimen to the hotel room. I threw the specimen in the garbage. At the time, I really needed the money. It was extremely difficult to keep the lies going.
And later,
You know, I was just happened in Washington. 3 felonies, 25 to life.
Come on.
Right on.
How long do I have to be punished for this?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
CPS said your daughter is in videos and pictures taken in Russell Taylor's house that have been sent to Jarrett Fogel.
The first victim of the Fogel sex scandal to speak out.
Russell would come into the bedroom.
When you were naked?
Yes. I did not know there were hidden cameras.
This was a house of abuse for you.
Yes.
Then on Friday,
I am in love with Kit Morris.
she's married but obsessed with a country star.
I asked if he could take me home.
Anywhere in there did you think, I ought to check in on my husband and kids?
That's Friday.
When I see Audrey, I don't know what my reaction is going to be. I'd love to wrap my hands around Audrey's throat. I hope that the chairs on the Dr. Phil show are bolted down because I might end up throwing one at her.
Well, that was Peter talking about the anger he still feels toward Audrey after she was convicted of a surrogacy scam. Audrey says Peter and Shania trusted her, never asked any questions about her past or medical history, and even agreed to pay her $10,000 to carry their baby. Money she says she desperately needed.
Yeah.
I faked a surrogate pregnancy for the money. The plan was to take the deposit. It was non-refundable. No one was going to get hurt, and that was going to be the end of it. I never intended on getting pregnant. I separated my feelings from it. I didn't consider anybody else in this situation. I found Shania and Peter on one of the surrogacy websites. Shania was very trusting. She didn't ask a lot of questions about my medical history. We had agreed on a $10,000 arrangement with a $2,500 deposit. They would pay me $833 every month. I sent pictures of my kids and pretended that that was a previous surrogacy that I had done. I made arrangements with Shania and Peter to meet them in Portland, Oregon. I downloaded a sample surrogacy contract, and we signed the contract. They brought Peter's specimen to the hotel room for me to get pregnant. I had no intentions of using it. I was in a hurry to leave to catch my flights for family vacation in Washington, D.C., so I threw Peter's specimen in the garbage. The plan was to call them in 2 to 3 weeks and tell them that I took a pregnancy test and it did not work. When I was on vacation, the whole deposit was spent. I had run out of money at that point. At the time, I really needed the money, so I decided to tell them that I did get pregnant for a month or two and then to tell them that I miscarried. Shania was asking if she could come down and do an ultrasound with me. I kept putting it off. I kept telling Shania that I was too busy. I was planning on telling Shania and Peter that I had miscarried around the 4th or 5th month. I was so disconnected at that point that I really didn't think I was doing anything wrong. It was extremely difficult to keep the lies going. It spiraled out of control.
I'm gonna ask Audrey to come out because I think you're entitled to say what you want to say to her. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right, Audrey, come on out. Audrey, Dr. Phil, how are you?
Good.
Sit right here if you would. I believe you know these folks.
Yeah.
What'd you want to say?
You lying bitch. How could you do that? You destroyed our lives.
I am sorry for what I've done. I'm taking responsibility.
What I want to know, Audrey, is how long you were going to carry this out.
I had no
You were in your 5th month.
I had no intentions of carrying it on that long.
We were going to have a baby shower. We asked you if everything was okay. We sent out the invitations. You said it was okay to send out the invitations.
My life at that time was very different. You guys have no idea what was going on in my life, and I'm sorry.
No, you've never told us. You've never given us any answers as to why you did what you did to us.
Because I wasn't allowed to contact you guys.
By who?
The court told me I was not allowed to speak to you guys.
You were supposed to send us an apology letter.
I wrote a 5-page apology letter and gave it to the probation officer to send to you.
Well, he didn't send it to me.
I did. I swear I wrote it. I tried to reach out to you. I asked them to contact you and asked if I could talk to you. And they kept telling me no. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to tell you where I was at and why I did what I did. Because I am sorry.
No.
I truly am.
I can't believe you. You know, you're on the internet. I think you're still scamming people.
Audrey,
I think you're still a lying bitch.
Did you have children, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're dealing here with a couple, with a woman that has said to you, this is our miracle baby. We can't have a child. This is our last chance. This is it for us. We've been scammed. Don't hurt us. So she's waving these flags in your face, and you're saying, come on, God bless you. God bless you. Come on down. Give me your money.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Number one, I wasn't the only one involved in it. And I was broken at the time. I was taking a lot of pills. I didn't know what to do.
Who else was involved?
I can't say.
Yeah.
But I was not the only one involved.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
I was so broken.
And that excused?
I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just telling you that that's what I was going through.
Could care less what she was going through.
I was trying to kill my...
Okay, and you're saying that you weren't... You're saying that there was someone else involved, but you were the only one charged and convicted, correct?
Yep. And I took responsibility for it. I did the probate. I did everything I could to make it. There's not much I can do. I can't go back.
You didn't pay him back all the money.
Because I can't get a job. Nobody will hire me with 5 felonies on my record. I have tried my hardest.
I don't understand why you did what you did. How long were you going to let it go? You kept taking my money.
I did not know how to stop it.
Because the police caught her.
And later...
Do you understand what you put me through?
Why do you think I'm here? Because I understand.
You can't possibly understand.
Stop telling me what I understand, because I am here.
This November, they survived a house of horrors.
Locks on the refrigerator, blood splattered on a wall.
The children speak out for the first time.
You found some guns?
Yes, we were going to go inside and kill all of them.
This is the month.
Did he kidnap your daughter?
He did. No.
Where anything can happen.
She asked me to come get her.
You're lying.
I'm lying? Why don't you shut the hell up? I'm not going to shut my mouth. If I didn't think I'd go to jail for it, I would go across this 3 feet of floor right here, and I'd take his damn head off.
Shania's family was throwing her a baby shower, and actually had invited me to it. I was supposed to be around 5 months pregnant. Even though I knew I was not pregnant, I told Shania to go ahead and have the baby shower because I did not know how to break it to her that I wasn't pregnant. I knew that I had messed up and I was going to go to jail. I felt like the worst person in the world.
I don't have answers, Audrey. I don't understand why you did what you did. How long were you going to let it go? The only reason you stopped was because you got caught. That's the only reason. You kept taking my money.
I did not know how to stop it. Because me and you had built a relationship, and I felt bad. I didn't know how to tell you at that point.
Yeah, and you were backing off
the relationship. Hurt you. Exactly, because I didn't know what to do. I was stuck in a place of...
That's because the police caught her.
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your willingness to come and face them and answer their questions, because I think them getting some information about this will help them heal, even if they don't feel it right here in the moment. And you didn't have to be here. You didn't have to come and do this. And I do give you credit for that. And this was not a one spur-of-the-moment bad decision that you made, because this did stretch out across 5 months. You first had to place an ad, which you put up. That was one time. Then you had to answer and carry on this conversation. Was it you carrying on the conversation with her? You said you felt...
Part of the time, and part of the time it wasn't.
But you said you had a relationship with her. You had a bond with her that you, not someone else, but you didn't know how to quit because you had a relationship with her.
I didn't really care about her.
Somebody else was writing the emails?
Encouraging emails to me?
I did not write all those emails at all.
You have got to be me. Really?
I did not write all those emails.
You're going to blame them on somebody else.
No, I'm taking responsibility for what I did. But I'm not going to say it was just me. But I still take responsibility for it. I still feel guilty. Why do you think I asked to be here? Because I still feel bad.
You know, I wish this happened in Washington, you know? You know why? Because in Washington, with 3 felonies, it's 25 to life.
I should go to life for this? Come on.
You should have gotten more punishment than what you got for what you did to me.
Was it you
That's not what you said in the emails that we've talked back and forth. That's not at all what you said.
Was it you that altered the ultrasounds?
It was me that altered the ultrasound.
So you got old ultrasounds. Were they of your children?
Yes.
So they were your ultrasounds from your children, and you altered the dates.
I did.
And the identifying information, and you sent those as proof of your pregnancy.
I did.
I never saw any ultrasounds.
I thought they were sent to you.
Not to us.
Not to us.
Well, we'll talk about that. You also found out that Peter had to have heart surgery, correct?
I did.
So you knew that at every penny they had, every amount of money,
dime,
that they could scrape together was going towards him having to have heart surgery.
Which was even harder to tell you guys at that point. How was I supposed to tell you guys? And I wanted to tell you.
But you didn't.
I didn't. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't know how to
The only thing that got her through me being in the hospital with all the complications was knowing that she had a baby coming.
Was knowing I had that baby coming.
And you just up and destroyed it. You're looking for forgiveness. I have no forgiveness for you. None at all.
Well, interestingly enough, Audrey says that she would not forgive herself for this. Shania says that although she trusted Audrey 100%, there were plenty of red flags along the way. We're going to find out what they were and why Shania overlooked them. We'll answer that question when we come back. Did you fess up to the police? Did you tell them the truth?
Yeah.
Because I looked at the police reports. There was a couple in New Zealand.
I had a prior medical procedure done I had a doctor, and he asked me if I ever wanted to have children again at that point. He says it could be near to slim that it might happen. We told Audrey this, and she said she's been through this before, and it still does happen. So I was surprised that Audrey got pregnant.
Well, that was Peter talking about a major health problem they ignored during what they thought was a legitimate surrogacy deal because his wife Shania wanted a baby so badly. But that was not the only thing she overlooked. Shania says convicted scammer Audrey claimed to be a surrogate mother for another couple and even sent a picture of 3 children she carried for them. And there were 2 Caucasian children.
2 Caucasian children.
And 1 African-American child.
And 1 African-American child. And the couple was both Caucasian.
And you didn't send that picture?
I did not send that picture.
So someone that was working with you?
Yes.
Sent that picture? Okay, sent that picture. And are you saying that you did this against your will? Or are you saying that you were just in a bad situation and made some bad choices? Because I think they want to know. Were you forced into doing this, or were you?
I was not forced into do it. At the time, my mind was really messed up, and I just said, okay. I didn't really think about what it was going to cause.
Okay, this is great. Cool. Yeah. Right on.
How long do I have to be punished for this? I mean, I made a mistake. I'm trying to make amends. I'm trying to say I'm sorry.
You seem really defensive about this, and it's hard to be under attack and not be defensive.
Yeah.
You do own the fact that you made the decision to do this.
Absolutely.
Were you glad to be caught so it would be over?
Yeah, I was glad. I wanted it to be over. I just wanted out.
Did you fess up to the police? You tell them the truth?
Yeah.
Because I looked at the police reports. Maybe you can clear some of this up for me. They said that you got specimens from the male half of couples, stated that she was impregnated, which is not true. Because one item located were medical reports that seemed to indicate that you had an operation where you were no longer able to have children.
I had a tubal reversal because me and my husband were going to try to have a baby at the time.
I see. And it said this would be intent to defraud. Yeah. At times, she seemed to be indifferent. They described you as being indifferent about the fraud that she had committed and said we were just making a big deal out of this.
I didn't realize how serious it was. I didn't realize the big picture of it.
That you just destroyed 2 people.
Yeah, it's just been a wonderful since then. I mean, life has been amazing.
Do you understand what you put me through in not being able to have a baby?
Why do you think I'm here? Because I understand that it's a guilt that I still live with.
You've got 4 children. You can't possibly understand what it's like not to have children.
That doesn't mean
you'll never know.
Stop telling me what I understand because I am here. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, there's something I want to be sure you understand, because there was a couple in New Zealand as well. And there's excerpts from her confession about this New Zealand couple. And you said, I found out I was pregnant, and then all of this stuff happened, and I lost the baby. That's what you told the police about the New Zealand couple.
Yep.
Okay? And you said, I was really trying to help them. I had a miscarriage, and I just didn't know what to do. That wasn't the truth.
Nope.
And I ask you, when you got caught, were you glad it was over you got caught?
That was before I got caught. They called me a couple months before that.
The police called you about this, and you lied to them.
Yeah, they called me just about the New Zealand couple, and I lied to them. I didn't know what to say.
So you know they're onto you.
Yeah.
And you're still working them.
Yes, I did. I'm saying I did.
Why?
Because I had a lot of pressure at the time to keep it up. And everybody kept telling me it was not a big deal. You're not going to go to jail. If you do, it's going to be a slap on the wrist.
And that's what you actually got, was a slap on the wrist.
It was not a slap on the wrist. I had my kids taken away for 9 months.
When they came in and ultimately did arrest you and seize computers and all, They found replies to 2 Craigslist ads on March 24th of 2010. Hi, I was wondering if you ever found a surrogate. Then they found a surrogacy contract with Leanne and James, names highlighted, signed by Audrey on April 16th. And then replies to 3 Craigslist ads on April 20th of 2010. I'm an experienced surrogate. I have a contract drawn up asking for $10,000 compensation, $2,500 paid, and then the rest paid monthly. April 20th. What was the day you met with her?
May 3rd.
Wow, you had yourself a good scam going there.
Let's take a break. We're going to find out the exact moment when Peter and Shania found out their dream to become parents was never going to happen. If Audrey wants to make things right, she needs to understand the impact on these people. We'll be right back.
Audrey said having children for other couples was more important than getting the money. That's not at all true with this woman. She's a lying thief and a backstabbing bitch.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, the first victim of the Fogle sex scandal to speak out.
Russell would come into the bedroom.
When you were naked?
Yes. I did not know there were hidden cameras.
Only on Dr. Phil. That's tomorrow.
Peter said he had his suspicions about convicted scammer Audrey's pregnancy, but finally started feeling comfortable when he got the devastating news from police that Audrey, in fact, was not pregnant and had swindled them out of more than $5,000 in 5 months. How did you get the news, Peter? Who called you and told you, and what did they say?
The Astoria police called me at my work. They asked me if I knew Audrey. I said, well, yeah. She's carrying our surrogate child for us. And the officer on the other side said, no, she's not. She's not pregnant. There is no baby. She's been lying. It's a scam. She's doing it to another couple. I said, are you sure? Are you sure this is what's going on? The lady said, yeah, she's not pregnant. She's scamming. So I drove home, and she's sitting down. She goes, what's wrong? I said, Audrey's scamming us. She didn't want to believe it. And finally, I'm yelling at her. Finally, I grabbed her. I sat her down. I said, it's real. It's a scam. She scammed us. She started to cry. And she was breaking down. Her dreams of everything she wanted, of everything, were just yanked out of her heart. And I had to do it. And it wasn't fair to her. And it wasn't fair to me. And she caused it.
Did you come to grips with it finally in that moment? Did it hit you?
It took a while to hit me. I was devastated. I was hurt. My dream had been taken away. I was crushed because I loved that baby that never was there. For 5 months, I loved that baby. I grew to love that child that was going to be mine, that you were carrying. And after 5 months, I'm told there is no baby. For a long time, I went to counseling and had to grieve over the loss of losing that baby. And that is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I'm very angry at you for that.
Angry doesn't even begin to put a word on what I have for it.
Do you get that this was not just a financial thing?
Absolutely.
This wasn't just about the money?
Absolutely. Completely understand. I do feel guilty. It's something that I live with every day. I completely understand, and I feel like the worst person in the world for what I did, but I can't take it back.
And I hope you live with it the rest of your life.
In 1 minute, you seem remorseful. In the next minute, you don't seem remorseful at all.
I shouldn't be punished the rest of my life.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. I've read what she has written to you, and it's very humbling to me to read what she's written to you. She said, "Hi, Audrey, I have grown such a connection to you after everything came out. There was a part that still cared. There is still some unresolved hurt and pain for the baby I lost and for the friend I lost. A connection I had with you and nobody else. There's a good reason that God reconnected us. I'm really happy for you, and I'm sorry for the dysfunctional life you had me go through." And, you know, she signed it, Love, Shania. And I think she has compassion. If there's something you want them to know, then I want you to say it. Because in 1 minute, you seem remorseful. In the next minute, you don't seem remorseful at all. You seem combative.
Exactly.
And so I just want to give you, without interruption, I want to give you the opportunity to say whatever you want to say.
I just want to say that I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be combative, but I just want a chance. It's been 5 years. I shouldn't be punished the rest of my life. I really shouldn't. I'm trying to make it right. You really meant a lot to me. I really want you to forgive me. You were a friend to me. I want to get closure, and I want to move on, and I don't know how.
Part of me wants to believe you, Audrey, but there's part of me that doesn't believe you.
At this point, their ability or willingness to make you feel better is a gift that I don't think Peter has to give at this point.
No.
I think that Shania has been exceedingly generous of spirit in reaching out to you, and I think you should be very, very grateful for that. And the only person that really knows whether you are sorry for the choices that you made is you. I, for one, don't think you would make that choice today that you made back then. And the first person that needs to forgive you is yourself. You got to decide. I needed to set an example for my children. I need to forgive myself and be the best mother that I can. You can't fix them. They're going to have to do that themselves. Your willingness to come here today and face them goes a long way with me in terms of your genuineness in trying to make this right.
I really want to.
So I do appreciate that. I'm going to excuse Audrey at the break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask Areva Martin to join us. We're going to talk to Peter and Shania about how they can use this situation in their life to save heartbreak for another couple that might be coming down the line, because surrogacy is not a bad thing. It's just a delicate thing. We'll talk about that when we come back. Veterans Day is a time to remember those who unselfishly put their lives on the line to protect the freedom all Americans enjoy.
Honoring those contributions is the very foundation of Veterans Day. These men and women made sacrifices many of us cannot comprehend, and their efforts should be remembered.
Today, please take the time to thank every veteran you know and tell them how much you respect and appreciate their service. They have dedicated their lives to their country, and I feel they should be recognized for their commitment.
From all of us at the Dr. Phil Show, thank you.
Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. One of my favorite people of all is here, attorney and child advocate Areva Martin. I want to use this situation to try to save people from getting caught, because I have to say this was actually a reasonably prudent couple here compared to what a lot of folks do.
Yeah, I think so, Dr. Phil. The issue, though, you said surrogacy is delicate. It's also very complicated. And there were so many red flags in this case. And I know when you're vulnerable and you want a baby as badly as you do, you didn't see those flags. Or sometimes you said you saw them, but you ignored them. But first of all, that contract was so troubling to me as an attorney, and when I saw it, I was cringing. There were so many things in there that no one took any consideration of, like the medical care.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at this, for example. Artificial insemination procedure shall be performed by licensed and qualified physician. That didn't happen. Surrogate agrees to undergo and or have undergone psychological evaluation or testing. That didn't happen. Evaluation or testing shall be conducted prior to insemination procedure. Didn't happen. Surrogate agrees. Intended parents have the right to attend all doctor visits, including ultrasound. That didn't happen. Surrogate shall be paid a sum of money. Only thing they got right was the money. She got the money right, but nothing else in the contract that could have been helpful to y'all that was in the contract was not performed.
Get a lawyer involved, use an agency, and really know the person that you're selecting to carry your baby. It's one of the most important decisions you'll make.
We have to go here, but I have to say, because America, I know everyone in America is just sitting around right now going, oh my God. But I do need to share that while you've not been able to have a baby through surrogacy or otherwise, that you have made a terrific connection with a foster child that needs your love in a tremendous.
Yeah. And we're very blessed.
In a tremendous way, and I won't go into a lot of the history, but you talk about an angel on a shoulder. You're really there at a critical time in a child's life that really needs a lot of love that you've got pent up inside. And so just so people know all that love you've got to give, you've found a really meaningful way to do that. So I just wanted to share that with them.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. Thank you.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to attorney Areva Martin. Log on to drphil.com, share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phil, hashtag surrogacy scam. We will see you next time. Areva, thank you so much.
Today on Dr. Phil. Is this uncle too affectionate?
Grace, I love you with all my heart. You're one of my best friends in the world.
With his 16-year-old niece?
What bothered you about the letter?
It sounds like a love letter.
You have a 38-year-old man in your daughter's bedroom with the door closed on a regular basis.
I know it's inappropriate.
Now he faces his accusers.
It makes my mind go to a place where I don't want it to go.
You put whipped cream on your neck, and Grace says you asked her not once but twice to lick it off.
I don't remember doing that.
The creep meter is pegging over here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Sure that most women would love to get a letter like this from their husbands. I love you with all of my heart. The way I love you is unique, and I don't know how to explain it. You have also made me feel very special. That was just an excerpt of a letter that 38-year-old Kevin wrote, but it was not to his wife. He actually wrote that to his 16-year-old niece, Grace. Now, her mother discovered the letter when she decided to do a little snooping after finding an empty bottle of whipped cream hidden in her daughter's bedroom. Now, her daughter later told her mother that her uncle bought the whipped cream, put it on his neck, and asked her to lick it off. Now, despite these red flags, Bridget says she is still not 100% sure that her brother-in-law is having an inappropriate relationship with her daughter, who is 22 years younger than Uncle Kevin.
My daughter Grace is 16. My brother-in-law Kevin became close to Grace after her father died.
When my dad died, I had a tough time in school. I got held back 2 grades and I started getting bullied. My Uncle Kevin started hanging out with me to cheer me up. Pretty soon, he was coming over every day.
His car would be in my driveway when he should have been at work. They spent a lot of time in Grace's room with the door closed.
I lay like this and Kevin lays right here like this. Kevin is not just my uncle, he's also a very good friend.
One day I came home and the washer setting was off. She said she washed her sheets because they were sweaty. And then she said Kevin stopped by. We fought, and then I told her that Kevin could not come over unless I knew about it. But after that, he came over again. I went into her room and found a hidden bottle of whipped cream behind her stack of DVDs. I thought to myself, Kevin has been here, washed sheets, now whipped cream. I started to snoop and found a letter from Kevin to Grace. When I read it, I was physically ill.
I thought the letter Kevin wrote was completely harmless.
It spoke of their relationship. She's getting older now, and she might even get a boyfriend. I won't be happy about it.
You will be dating, you'll eventually find a guy. I'd be lying if there was a part of me that doesn't like it.
I felt that something inappropriate had happened. So I grilled her about the whipped cream, and Grace told me that Kevin had put the whipped cream on his neck and asked her to lick it off.
I know what's right and wrong, so I didn't do it. He asked me again and I said no.
Even though Kevin told me that he did say those things about the whipped cream on his neck, he told his wife that he did not. Once I found out that Kevin lied about the whipped cream, I realized that he was capable of lying about anything. I just want to know the truth. Is my brother-in-law a monster?
Are you concerned?
I have some concerns just because I have one side of me that thinks that this is an innocent friendship. And then I have my sister, my other sister that's not married to Kevin, who thinks this is way wrong.
Way wrong. Uh-huh.
So I'm being pulled both ways.
Okay. And you've talked to Grace about it, and you've said that there's nothing inappropriate going on here, right?
I don't feel there's anything inappropriate going on. There's a few things that, I've seen, like the whipped cream thing did concern me a little bit. But other than that, I think him and I have nothing but a friendship.
And one that you value?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And this kind of started after your dad passed. I'm very sorry for your loss, by the way. That's never easy, and certainly not easy when you're 14 and leaves a terrible void. So I am sorry for your loss. And,
thank you.
And Kevin was a help and is a help during that time, kind of filling a void in there. So some good things in that regard,
yes.
right? And you've appreciated that.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. But you say that your first red flag was Kevin going by your house when you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that when he comes over, they go in her room and close the door and watch TV. And now, every story has two sides to it. And on the flip side of that doesn't sound good when you just say it, right? On the other side, there's a little brother, and he comes crashing in all the time. And so they close the door to keep the munchkin out from blasting in and all. But nonetheless, you do have a 38-year-old man in your daughter's bedroom with the door closed on a regular basis.
Right.
Is that a good idea?
If it was anybody else besides Kevin, it would be a big deal. But to me, I've seen them together, he's like a big kid. To me, he's her friend. And so when I find these things, I'm conflicted. Because when I talk to Kevin or my sister, who's married to him, they bring me back down. And then when I talk to my sister Tammy, she just brings everything way back up. And then I ask Grace, and then she tells me there's nothing inappropriate going on. And I ask her a lot. And so my stomach is just in knots. I don't know what to believe.
Just from a commonsensical standpoint, what is it that bothers you about this?
I just feel like, what if some of the things that are going through my head are true? And it's just something that my mind cannot handle.
And what is it that's going through your head?
Well, when I found the whipped cream and then I found the letter, I was physically sick.
What bothered you about the letter?
It sounds like a love letter. It sounds like it goes right to the edge of being inappropriate without saying too much.
What did you think about the letter?
I thought that the letter was, like I said, he wrote it after my father died, and I feel like he was trying to boost my confidence and make me feel better about myself. And there was a part where he said that about the guys, how he doesn't like when I date guys or talk to guys. That has always concerned me because, like, I understand if my father was here, he would be concerned about the guys that I talk to or associate with, but like my mom said, that seemed a little over the edge. And other than that, I thought it was a nice letter that he wrote me to make me feel better about myself.
Coming up, a video from Uncle Kevin that could be another red flag.
Is the uncle talking about his niece? Does that sound normative to you?
No. It sounds, awkward.
And later.
Maybe you should zip it then.
No,
not say
I know what I
you're
see,
saying.
Kevin.
And he didn't just bring whipped cream over alone. They were making sundaes.
Different people have different versions and remember things differently.
There aren't versions of the truth.
My Uncle Kevin does get upset if he thinks our relationship is being threatened. When I talk to Kevin about boys, he does get mad, so I don't bring it up. Another time when I told him we shouldn't see each other very much, he got very angry. I think Kevin is very sensitive about our relationship, but Kevin doesn't treat me inappropriately at all.
You know, there's something called optimism bias. And that is where we just don't want to believe something. And so we're just so optimistic about it, we just don't want to believe it, so we just kind of have a blind spot to it.
You just described me, yes.
And, You know, I've talked about this concept of giving people the benefit of the doubt. I wrote a book called Life Code, and one of the things we talk about is benefit of the doubt. That you give people the benefit of the doubt, right? And I was raised that way. You give people the benefit of the doubt. I think that's insane. I think it's insane to give people the benefit of the doubt. And people go, "Oh, Dr. Phil, you're being pessimistic." No, I'm not. I don't think you should prejudge people either. I think you should just gather data and don't judge it one way or another. Just gather data and then look at what you have, what you compile, and see if something is more likely than not. And when we look at the letter that was written, let's look at the letter that was written. There's a 38-year-old man writing to his 16-year-old niece. "I love you with all of my heart." Okay. I raised 2 boys. I love them with all of my heart. I don't write them letters and say, I love you with all of my heart. But the way I love you is unique, and I don't even know how to explain it. What is unique about an uncle loving their niece that you don't even know how to explain it? This is not a novel concept. You will be dating, will eventually find a guy. I'd be lying if I said there wouldn't be a part of me that doesn't like it, though, LOL. You have also made me feel very special, wanting to be around me, telling me I look nice, that I make you smile. Hearts on your phone. I don't care that you are only 16. You are one of my best friends in the world. Hearts on your phone, telling me I look nice. Really?
Well, if you knew Kevin like I know him, that's why I had to take the letter and white the names out and let people who have no irons in the fire to figure out if it was inappropriate to them, or am I overreacting, or I guess my mind does not want to accept that something bad can happen, and that's how I do a lot of things.
That's how bad things happen. I always ask you guys to make a little video snippet for me.
Okay.
Right? And you did, and you did, everybody did, because I like to kind of take a look at folks and hear what they have to say. And Kevin made a video, and in it he's anguishing about what to do about this.
Yes, he has to me.
And he's talking in there about whether he should take a step back from this relationship. Let's take a look at what he said to me as he made this video sitting in his car.
Maybe it is best if I would just step away and stop spending time with Grace. And I don't know, it's tough. It's tough to do. I mean, I care a lot about her. It's hard just to say, I'm not going to see you or come around too much anymore. I mean, it's a terribly difficult thing to do, but I really don't know. So I'm just kind of, like I said, going to go what my wife tells me and whatever she thinks.
Is this uncle talking about his niece? It's just going to be terribly difficult to do. It's going to be tough. I don't know. I'll just do whatever my wife tells me to do. Does that sound normative to you?
No.
How does it sound to you?
It sounds awkward.
Well, let's take a break. We're going to meet Bridget's older sister, Tammy, who says Kevin has a history of inappropriate behavior. We're going to find out what makes her believe that he's actually molesting her 16-year-old niece. We'll be right back.
I recently found out that Kevin got a new work phone and gave Grace his old phone so that they could have private conversations. Everything Kevin does with Grace is a red flag. In my opinion, Kevin is a child molester.
And later, why Uncle Kevin and his wife threatened to leave.
They're telling me they're threatening that they're going to go home.
But I think we're going to find the bottom here, and if you want to just leave, and we can work this out another way. Bridget is worried her brother-in-law Kevin may be getting a little too close with her teenage daughter Grace. Now, her sister Tammy couldn't agree more. Tammy says Kevin is too touchy-feely with Grace, rubbing her feet, wanting to give her a massage or a back rub. And that's not the only time she says Kevin has crossed the line.
In my opinion, Kevin is a child molester. Carrie did tell me that Kevin did have an affair with a girl that she went to high school with. Carrie did put a stop to that affair, and she did stay married to Kevin. Carrie seems to just stand by while her husband lies and cheats on her. I recently found out that Kevin got a new work phone and gave Grace his old phone so that they could have private conversations. Kevin does have his text messages set up to be automatically deleted. Everything Kevin does with Grace is a red flag. Kevin's behavior is suspicious. I regret not calling the cops on Kevin a long time ago.
You're very concerned.
I have been very concerned. Everything about this is so inappropriate. And they keep a lot of information from me.
Why is that?
Because I'm very outspoken about it. I've had a conversation with Bridget, why she continues to let Grace go with Kevin and Carrie. And then I've also had a discussion with Carrie why she hasn't put a stop to Kevin seeing Grace. Going over to her house in appropriate times when Bridget's at work.
Now, the other sister we're talking about here, Carrie, is Kevin's wife.
That's correct.
And so that's the other sister here.
Yes.
And can I need to just call time out here and make something very, very clear. I don't know what's going on here. I'm committed to finding out, but one thing I know for absolute drop-dead certain is you've done nothing wrong. I know that for sure. You're a child in this situation, and you don't feel like a child because you're 16, and I remember when I was 16, I didn't know everything, but pretty much everything. And I considered myself pretty much the master of the universe and all, but you are a child in many ways, and I don't mean that in a condescending way at all, but you certainly have done nothing wrong here, no matter what this turns out to be. So please let me make that clear 100% here. If things have gotten out of hand here, if things have crossed the line, if things have gotten inappropriate, you're a victim here, not a perpetrator, and I want to be very, very clear about that. You say there are times that Carrie thinks her husband Kevin's at work when he's overseeing her.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. Why is she not reacting to this situation?
Well, I don't know why she's not reacting to it. I mean, there's been several other cases, you know, of infidelity, I guess you would call it, that she seems to forgive him. I'm not sure why.
Okay, and that's between the two of them, and right. I get that, but we're talking here about a child.
Right.
You need to tell me what's going on in your head right now.
I want to believe that nothing's happened because I don't think I can handle anything else.
You're the mother. You should protect Grace.
I do protect
Regardless.
Grace. I do protect Grace.
Wow.
If she's telling me there's nothing going on, and I haven't found anything that says, other than the letter, then he said that he didn't say that.
Okay, he didn't say what?
That he put it on his neck and asked her to lick it off.
But he told you he did.
Yes.
Then he
and then he took it back. So, and Grace said she didn't let him do that, and she didn't tell me that until we were already coming to the show. When I found the whipped cream, I got a whole different story.
That would have been enough evidence for me to go to the police, which I asked you to do.
What are you going to say to the police? I found a can of whipped cream? What can I say to the police? I found a can of whipped cream, and I found this letter.
That would have been a start.
There's nothing there that says anything has happened.
Okay, listen.
I know it's inappropriate, and
Okay,
I
let's
said
forget
at
about-
very least he's grooming her.
We're talking about the whipped cream. She said he sprayed it on his neck and asked me to lick it off.
And I just found that out before we came to the show.
Okay, but what's your conclusion? And later...
Well, I'm not comfortable with people digging things up.
You guys have been making demands and changing the story all within 30 seconds ago. I mean, people who have nothing to hide nothing.
The letter that Kevin wrote to Grace is harmless. It may not have been worded appropriately, but that's just how Kevin writes. The worst thing about Kevin is that he has terrible judgment when it comes to joking. I knew the whipped cream joke was the worst of the inappropriate jokes that have ever been told, but I know that's all it was. Even when his judgment is poor, his heart is always pure.
Okay, let's forget about television. Let's forget about police. Let's forget about all of that. I'm a parent, you're a parent, okay? And let's forget about Dr. Phil. This is Phil and Bridget, just talk for a minute, okay? I just think common sense isn't common enough anymore. What are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking.
I feel like that Kevin could not do something like that to me or Grace. In my head, that's how I feel. I've been seeing a lot of red flags that cause me to question things.
Okay, based on what you know to be a fact, what are you concluding?
I'm concluding it's inappropriate and that possibly he has been grooming her and for something to happen.
Okay, do you think victims of muggings know they're about to get mugged? Seriously, people that are walking down the street that all of a sudden, bam, get hit in the back of the head and they take their watch and their purse and their rings and their money. Do you think they know that's getting ready to happen?
No, but sexual abuse
Do
is
you think
completely different.
rape victims think they're getting ready to get raped?
Nope.
Do you think if you went out and found all of the molestation victims in the world, do you think that the victims know they're being groomed and know they're being molested before they're getting molested?
No.
Do you think they know that?
No, I think somebody on the outside needs to see that. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay, and if they see that, then what do you think should happen? What
I said I don't
disrupt-
want him there when I'm not home.
This is what Grace said in her pre-interview about the whipped cream, because we ask a lot of questions, and Grace is very honest with us. We're talking about the whipped cream. She said, he took it from me, and I thought he was going to eat it. He sprayed it on his neck and asked me to lick it off. I said, that's weird. I know what's right and wrong. I'm not doing it. So he leaned into me and asked me to do it again. I said no. Then he stood up and didn't say anything. He just wiped it off his neck and his face immediately got red. You could tell he knew what he had done was wrong, and he was either embarrassed or he just knew how wrong it was. Everybody knows he's overly affectionate and caring. He would always tell me I'm beautiful and always wanted to hug me and stuff. But only the whipped cream thing made me think, yeah, that's weird.
And I just found that out before we came to the show.
Okay, but now that you know it, what's your conclusion?
She hasn't seen Kevin. We haven't had any contact with him other than coming to the show.
Okay, well, you know what? He's here. So what is the deal with that can of whipped cream? and everything else. We're going to meet Kevin and find out why he says that incident was completely misconstrued. He says she is right to say that. I just can't imagine that Kevin would be inappropriate in any way. She says she just can't wrap her head around that. You'd have to know Kevin to understand. Well, he wants to explain. He's going to get that chance after the break.
Me coming around helping Grace, the school had a snowball effect to where we have formed this close relationship, this special bond that we have. It's not anything that I've set out to do. It's kind of the path that we went down. Grace, I know you're only 16, but I love you with all my heart.
Bridget is concerned that her 38-year-old brother-in-law, Kevin, might be having an inappropriate relationship with her 16-year-old daughter, Grace. But Kevin says things are just simply not what they seem. He says he is only being a buddy to his niece who needs a friend, particularly right after the death of her father. Take a look.
After Grace's father died, she became very depressed. She just really wouldn't get out of bed. I was there as a shoulder to cry on. I would occasionally stop by after work to help her with her online classes. Me coming around, helping her with school, had a snowball effect to where we have formed this close relationship, this special bond that we have. It's not anything that I've set out to do. It's kind of the path that we went down. One time, Grace asked me to bring over a bottle of whipped cream. When I brought the whipped cream over, I made a bad joke, put the whipped cream on my neck. She maybe laughed a little bit, but she's like, that's weird. I was embarrassed. It was a bad joke. I wiped it off really quick. That was the last that we even talked about it. Bridget contacted my wife about that incident, kind of trying to, I feel like, go overboard a little bit, make it look like something terrible had happened. My wife talked to me about it. She really, truly didn't believe anything inappropriate had happened. When the rumors first started flying, I wrote a heartfelt letter to Grace. Grace, I've gotten to know you so well over the last 3 months or so. I love you with all my heart. The way I love you is unique, and I don't know how to explain it, but I think you understand, and I think it's the same for you. I know you're only 16, but you're one of my best friends in the world. I will always, always be there for you. Love, Kevin. There's absolutely nothing inappropriate with my relationship with Grace.
Thank you for being here. We were going to add you, and then backstage you said you were refusing to come out unless you came with your wife?
Yeah.
Why
up
is
to this
that?
point, I felt like I knew where everybody was coming from, but I heard some things that were just not true from Tammy. So I'm not comfortable with people digging things up, and I think just the surprises caught me off guard.
Well, we've wanted your wife to be part of this to begin with, and your wife said, no, do not want to be part of the show. Then she said, well, actually, I'll sit in the audience, but I don't want to talk. Then she said, no, I'll sit in the audience, but I'll talk, but only to Dr. Phil. Then she said, okay, now I'll actually come and be. So you've been.
Right. I would like to avoid this whole process.
We've wanted you to be here from the beginning.
Right.
Because I have a lot of questions I want to ask you, but you guys have been making demands and changing them, the story all within 30 seconds ago. I mean, people who have nothing to hide nothing, so I can't imagine why you would be going through all of these things. Because you don't know what I think. You might be pleasantly surprised to know what I think. And I'm curious, did you guys all have a conference call yesterday where you worked out the story you were going to tell and how everybody was going to tell the same story once you got here on the phone, except for Tammy on Saturday night? And what do you know about the call, Tammy?
I looked at Bridget and I said, what is it? What's going on? She's like, something must have happened with Carrie and Kevin because they're telling me they're threatening that they're going to go home. And I said, well, what happened? Well, then Grace said, well, she had talked to Kevin about a few of the questions that were asked.
It's not true.
Well, then why did Grace lie?
I haven't spoke to Grace. These two spoke.
Well, I think
you know what? I think we're going to find the bottom here, and I think you want to find the bottom here because do you know what a mandated reporter is?
Yes. And I am one.
So am I, and apparently y'all don't take this seriously, but I do. You want to be part of this conversation, and if you want to just leave and we can work this out another way. but I'm not comfortable with everything that's flying around here, and it needs some clarification.
Okay.
Because I'm real
That's what we
uncomfortable with this, and I have one priority here, and that's the safety of this child. And I don't get the urgency on anybody's part about the safety of this child other than Tammy.
The phone call consisted of us discussing that some of us felt uncomfortable about the situation and how it might go. With Kevin saying that he was going to call the whole thing off, me and my sister Carrie were saying, let's go get the help that we need, and we were all in agreement that that's what we needed to do.
Dr. Phil, can I say something? I noticed this started about almost a year ago, October, and I brought it to her attention that I felt it was inappropriate for Kevin to take Grace to his private office, which I found that out.
To help her with her schoolwork because
Supposedly.
no one else has offered or knew how.
Well, why not at him?
If you were so concerned, why didn't you come up and spend time with Grace? How much time have you spent with Grace since Jason passed away?
Probably 0.
Thank you.
There you go. So how can you say, how much time have you spent with Kevin? How much time have you spent with Kevin spending time with Grace? 0. So how can you...
And it's
all your
okay.
information is based on gossip.
How is it okay for Kevin and Grace to be in her bedroom with the door shut, you not knowing about it, and when you found out about it, no, when she found out about
I
it,
go
you
places
told
all
him
the
to
time,
get
and I
his,
don't
you know
check
what,
in with Kevin.
How is any of this appropriate?
So you lied to your wife.
Where am I lying? I don't remember doing that.
Have you had any concerns about the relationship between the two of them?
The only concern that I have is that the time he spends with her takes away from me. And that's purely selfish. And that's the only problem I have.
And that's the day that
Were you concerned at all about the whipped cream incident?
I feel like that was totally inappropriate, but if you knew Kevin the way that we all know Kevin, it is a very bad
I agree.
joke. It was very bad. It looks very bad. The letter looks very bad. It sounds very bad. I know that, but I know him. And
But
Grace,
you were concerned about the whipped cream thing because
yeah, that was a really bad idea.
you guys text back and forth about it. You said, is what Grace said true? That only requires a simple yes or no. Kevin, you said it was just a dumb joke because I told her bringing whipped cream could seem weird and we had laughed about it. And Carrie, you said, so then you put whipped cream on your neck and told her to lick it off? Kevin, no, I put it on my neck and wiped it off real quick. Carrie, you said, so you put whipped cream on your neck. Kevin, yes, and immediately wiped it off. I knew it was a bad joke. So you lied to your wife.
Where am I lying?
Where you said, I put it on there and wiped it off immediately, because Grace says you asked her not once but twice to lick it off.
Okay. I don't remember doing that. I'm not calling Grace a liar if she said that happened. But will you ask her?
That means you're lying to
will
your
you
wife.
ask her if I did wipe it off really quickly? I mean, can you ask her that?
Well, I'm sure you did after you asked her to lick it off twice.
I don't remember saying that.
You then stood up, turned around, got really red-faced, and then wiped it off.
Well, as soon as I did it, I knew it was a bad joke. I wiped off, and I knew I was uncomfortable that I did that.
You forget the part about asking her twice to lick it off and being rejected twice, and then you wiped it off quickly because you were embarrassed. That's what Grace has. I don't have to ask her. I have it on.
Okay.
I have it recorded.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Okay. That was very inappropriate. That was wrong of me to do so.
Did that happen or did that not happen?
I do not remember saying the words "lick it off." I remember putting it on my neck, going like that. She said, I thought she kind of said, "That's weird." I said, just went like that, and that was
so
the end of it.
you were putting it on there and leaning in?
I did lean in, yes, and I knew it was wrong. And
why'd you do that?
It was just a bad joke, a mistake, Dr. Phil.
And he didn't just bring whipped cream over alone.
Mm-hmm.
They were making sundaes.
Okay. Well, then There was another version you told about that in your pre-interview. You said Grace wanted me to bring a bottle of whipped cream to the house because she wanted me to make sundaes. I told her that was kind of odd and asked her why she wanted me to bring the whipped cream. I was half-assed joking with her when I told her this could look bad. I didn't want to get it for her, but I'm a goofball and don't think things through entirely. I brought it over there and left right after. For some odd reason, she hid the bottle of whipped cream in her room after it was empty. Her mom found it and asked Grace about it, and she thought I brought it over. But we didn't know why she hid the bottle. Maybe she ate it all and didn't want anybody to know. So you said you brought it over and then just left right away. So you had that version in your pre-interview, then the version you just said where I don't remember asking her to lick it off twice. Then you said, well, I do remember leaning in, and then there's Grace's version. So there's like 4 versions. 3 of them are yours and 1 of them's hers.
Right.
Can I add another version?
Different people have different versions and remember things different. I don't think anyone here is sitting here accusing anybody of being a liar. I'm not. I'm not accusing Grace of being a liar.
There aren't versions of the truth.
There are, true.
There aren't versions of the truth.
And Dr. Phil, everything here is still, on this part, is true.
You have another version?
Just because I was told first that they were making sundaes. And then I was told the other day when I found out that there were no sundaes.
Yeah, there were none, right?
Basically, the sundae situation didn't even cross our mind. We didn't even think of it when he got there with it. So we were sitting on my bed eating it, squirting it into our mouths like people do with it, not in each other's mouths. We were squirting it in our own mouths.
I don't believe I had any, did I?
Yeah, you had some, yeah. But anyways, it was basically gone by the time he had left. And like he said, he thought that people would think that it was weird that there was a bottle of whipped cream. So I had hid it because I know how my family is, and I know that they like to make assumptions and lie about things.
But if you would have told me Kevin was coming over to make sundaes, then when I found the whipped cream bottle, I wouldn't have had a concern. When you keep it a secret from me that these things are going on, and then I find it, it makes my mind go to a place where I don't want it to go.
I believe
and I understand that now.
I know how to move this thing along, so I think we can get to a productive place. And I would like to talk just you and I.
Okay.
I'd like to just ask all of y'all to excuse us at the break here so Kevin and I can just talk one-on-one. We'll be right back. We have run out of time, but I still have a lot to say to this family. We talked to him briefly today, but tomorrow I'm going to talk one-on-one with Uncle Kevin and give him a chance to tell his side of the story.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil, the drama continues.
You gave her this bear, this Valentine's card, and you gave your wife a mug.
His family's suspicions.
Sometimes she sleeps in your bedroom, on a mattress, on the floor, and your wife's in another room.
I agree there's things that look bad.
But what else is coming out?
Let's talk about what needs to happen, okay?
I thought maybe we could talk about me being a horrible parent some more.
That has Mom challenging Dr. Phil.
You walk in these shoes, you'll know what it's like.
Well, lady, when you walk in these shoes, you'll see bull when you see it.
That's tomorrow.
Plus, we'll also talk to Grace's older sister, who feels their uncle puts her sister before his own wife. We are just getting started. I want to thank all of my guests today. Log on to drphil.com and share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phil. We'll see you tomorrow.
Today on Dr. Phil, She thinks her mother-in-law can't stand her.
Do you hate her?
Yes, I do.
And she's right.
You said, I am so sick of her, I can't believe how much I hate her. Do you hate the Taliban that much?
Is she a meddling mother-in-law?
Did you say to her, my son can marry you, but I don't have to like you?
I never said that.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or is her daughter-in-law
So you're spoiled?
Not rotten, but spoiled.
a prima donna?
Is she perfect? No, she's a young bride. She's going to burn the turkey.
She'd have to cook it first. He cooks. Your coworkers said you called us a horrible family.
Well, I would think you kind of qualify, don't you? Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, thank you much. Thank you very much. Now, my first guest, Donna, says she never hated a person as much as she hates her spoiled, ungrateful, disrespectful daughter-in-law. Now, Donna's son, Brad, and his wife, Jen, say they've had it with Donna's abuse, and they cut the cord 4 months ago. Take a look.
I hate my daughter-in-law with a passion.
The problems with my mother-in-law are ruining my life.
I'm being torn between the woman I love and the mother who raised me.
My mother-in-law makes me feel worthless.
Jen hates me. I know it. I don't care.
My mother-in-law is abusive, rude, and demanding of my family.
I think my daughter-in-law is a bitch, a lazy bitch. Jen was raised to be a spoiled brat. Jen told my son that she wouldn't accept anything less than a 7-carat diamond ring. A 7-carat diamond ring was over $100,000. Jen has no concept for money. Her parents gave her anything she wanted. I have worked my butt off for everything that we have acquired.
My mother had a rough upbringing. My mom thinks Jen is spoiled because she grew up in a privileged family.
Jen is trying to keep me from seeing my granddaughter. The last time I saw my granddaughter, Olivia, was June 2012. And I've only seen her 5 times and not more than 5 minutes at a time.
The day after Olivia was born, Donna came to the hospital and she held Olivia, and then she posted a picture of me, Brad, and Olivia saying, biggest ass to the left, referring to me.
I never had that picture or said that.
When I saw that picture, I wasn't shocked. Was I hurt? Yeah.
That is not a word that I would use, no.
You're upset. Tell me why.
I just don't understand how she hates me so much.
But you feel that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you feel that she really hates her?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that disrespects you?
Yeah, it disrespects me a lot.
Yeah, because she's treating your wife that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you hate her?
Yes, I do.
But you don't remember anything. I watched your tape piece. You said you don't remember anything about that comment that you made on Facebook. You said you just don't remember doing that.
I did not make that comment.
So you didn't make that comment?
I did not.
Okay. Well, what is this we're looking at? It says, biggest ass I know, the one on the left. That would be you. And this is from your face. Did somebody hack your Facebook page?
It's altogether possible. My sister-in-law does it all the time.
She hacks your Facebook page?
Not my Facebook page. She does it for a living.
She's a hacker?
Yes, she works for the federal government.
You're going to accuse Aunt Kate
No, I'm
in
not
Virginia
saying that. I'm saying that somebody else.
hacking your phone.
Are you really...
I'm telling you, I did not put
See,
that
that's
on.
kind of insulting to my intelligence.
I'm not insulting your intelligence, but I did not post that.
Okay, who took it down yesterday?
I would like to know how they saw it, because I'm not friends with them on Facebook. They blocked me from Facebook.
Okay, well, we'll ask them that in a minute, but
because of the
first
fact-
answer my question. Who took it down yesterday?
I did because they brought it to my attention that it was on there, and I didn't put it on there.
Okay, but you took it down.
I took it down, yes.
Okay, but we got a screen grab of it before you took it down, because I wanted to show it to you today.
Right, and as soon
And I
as
had a
they...
sneaking suspicion you were going to take it down before you got here. I was right.
I didn't write it though.
It was up there for a year. It was up there for a year, and you take it down the day before you come to the Dr. Phil show. It's there for 364 days, and then you took it down the day before you came to the Dr. Phil show.
It wasn't up there for 364 days, and I can verify that because I know my friends saw it on Facebook, and it wasn't on there.
Okay, but you didn't put it up there.
I did not put it up there.
Okay.
I will
Do you
take a
believe
lie
that?
detector test right now to say that I did not put it
Well,
up
I don't
there.
have one on me, but I might take you up on that.
Sure.
But listen, I'm asking you to help me here. So you're saying you didn't put that up there.
I did not.
Let me see if I've got these excerpts right from your emails. And I've got the actual emails here. And there's a reason that I'm saying I'm doing this for a purpose. These are just excerpts. Dr. Phil, I hate my daughter-in-law. I feel this hatred every day. I can't believe how much I hate her. Hate is a big word. Hate.
Yes.
You hate her. Is there a way to get past the hatred? How can I get over the extreme hatred I have towards my daughter-in-law? I am so angry over not being able to see my granddaughter, I can't function. I am so sick of her, I don't know what to do. I have been unable to sleep going over everything. I have never hated a person as much as this. How do I get over this hatred? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 times you hatred. I'm not sure. Do you hate the Taliban that much?
Probably not.
That's a lot of hatred for one little girl. What has she done to you?
She, since my son was building a house when they were dating, she shows up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She sleeps until 11.
Okay.
Gets up, gets ready, and then she comes over to work on the house.
Okay, now you're a nurse, right?
No, not then.
No, keep in mind, we're dating at the time, not even engaged. And what responsibility does she have to come to my house, which I'm building, and help me out? She's not obligated to do that. And I didn't ask that of her.
No, and I was over at your house helping you, and you didn't ask me either.
Look, does this boil down to the fact that you think she's spoiled?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, are you spoiled?
Yeah.
So you're spoiled?
Not rotten, but spoiled.
Not rotten, but spoiled. So did you come from a nice family?
Yeah. I've been very blessed.
Were they an affluent family?
Yeah.
And so you had some nice things in life?
But I've always worked ever since I could drive. Always.
You've
Sometimes
always had a
two
job?
jobs. Always.
And you went to college?
Except for when I was in the actual College of Nursing for like a year and a half, I didn't have a job, I think.
Are you a nurse?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you like that? Are you good at it?
I'm very good at it.
So you're a caregiver and,
Yeah.
and you work at that?
Yeah.
My mother was in the hospital, and her coworkers said, "Oh, you're Brad's horrible family, huh?"
I wasn't even working when she was there.
No, you weren't working, but your coworkers said that's what you called us, the horrible family.
Well, I would think you kind of qualify, don't you?
She's a liar. She is.
Do you leave voicemails calling her a bitch?
Not that I recall.
And later,
The fighting with my mom has gotten so bad that we have purchased firearms to protect ourselves.
but what you want in your life is you want to have a relationship with your granddaughter and you want to have a relationship with your son, right?
How can you ever expect to
Wouldn't that
have
be great?
if you don't want to have a relationship with my wife?
But that is what you want, right? You want to be able to see the grandbaby?
I would like to see my granddaughter.
And you want to have a relationship with your son?
Yes.
Do you realize if we rented a conference room here in Hollywood and we met and said, you said, okay, Dr. Phil, how can I make sure I never have to deal with this little munchkin and I never have to deal with my son? I finally got him out of the house. How can I fix it where I never have to deal with him or that kid that he had? We would come up with a strategy of alienating his wife. That would be our strategy. That's what I would recommend. If you didn't ever want to see him again and you didn't want to deal with that baby, I would say attack his wife. That'll get him every time. That's what we would come up with. You have come up with the best plan for making sure you don't get what it is you say you want. That can't be an accident. So what's really going on here? Because I don't believe that you may be a lot of things, but dumb is not on the list. So what's really going on here?
No, I've helped my family in every way possible. And I didn't have a problem with my daughter-in-law until the last year.
We're not talking about that, and I'm not asking you how good of a martyr you are. I'm asking you, you said what you want is a relationship with your grandbaby and your son, but you have chosen a tact that guarantees you won't have that. You're smart enough to know that. Tell me what's going on.
I didn't know she hated me. She said that she hated me. She did, outright, the last time I was there. She told me she hated me.
She hates the way that you treat her.
No,
She
she
doesn't hate
says,
you.
I've hated you since the first time you hollered at me when you were working on the house.
Why was she not invited to the baby shower?
Because she hates me. It's basically what it came down to, the threats.
Tell me about the threats.
She ended up charging or billing Brad for $26,000 for digging a basement on our last house. When she billed us this last time, she threatened to put a lien on our property, which we were on a construction loan at the time, so we could have lost our house. The first, with the first fights and stuff, she was trying to destroy my marriage, and she didn't want me to marry him. And being completely honest, that's the only reason why I've ever said we've ever had problems together. It's because of her.
Did you not, in June of this year, when we went to the funeral, you came up to me and hugged me. So,
I've always tried to be nice.
yeah.
I've always tried to, forgive and move past.
Well, if
all
you
the
wanted
mean
to,
things you've said.
if you wanted to forgive and forget, then you wouldn't have said that you hated me since the first time I hollered at you.
I know I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I know I
You
didn't
said- you
because I
also
was very
said you
careful
didn't
with my
throw the
words
presents.
because I didn't want to be that person.
Did you say to her, my son can marry you, but I don't have to like you?
I never said that.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, now look, somebody's lying here. Come on. I can't help y'all if you're just up here with a CYA attitude. Look, I'm up here talking to Dr. Phil. I'm going to cover my ass. I can't help you if nobody owns anything. Are they lying? Did you just not say that?
She's a liar. She is. You have to. You didn't talk to everybody that's involved in this issue. My mom will
No, you're
tell you.
here. I don't need others. I'm talking to you. You don't need a posse. I'm just talking to you.
Everybody else can back me up. She told. I brought a gift over for the baby in June. And
let's look at the context
Do you
of the
leave
story
voicemails
first.
calling her a bitch?
Not that I recall.
Pardon me?
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall. Wow. Okay, let's take a break and everybody take a deep breath. All right, next, Jen and Brad say they live in fear of Donna because of her rage and that it has intensified with every event that's taken place. Things are so bad, they say they now sleep with a gun beside their bed. And I want to de-escalate this situation here. I want these people to be a family. We'll be right back.
The fighting with my mom has gotten so bad that we have purchased firearms to protect ourselves.
I hate guns, so that was very scary for me.
My mother has never been physically violent with us, but the rage that she has makes it a possibility for us. My mother is irrational, overbearing, and throws tantrums. One time, we were installing the hardwood floors. Jen's brother told her to close the door.
He said to me that, shut the frickin' door, the air conditioning's on. His comments to me were like a slap in the face, and it set me over the edge.
And she stormed out of the house and left us to finish the job. Later on, she called me and left me a voicemail of the sounds of her throwing my tools out of their storage shed.
Hey, I just wanted you to hear. There's a paint sprayer. Can you hear that? Next is a table saw.
Well, Donna says she absolutely cannot stand her daughter-in-law, hates her, and she wrote 5 emails asking if there's a way for her to ever control the rage she feels for her daughter-in-law. And the answer is yes, of course you can and need to control the rage. Brad said things are so bad that they have taken drastic measures and now sleep with a gun to protect themselves from his mother.
The fighting with my mom has gotten so bad that we have purchased firearms to protect ourselves. I own a .40 caliber pistol. I also have a 20 gauge pump shotgun. This one was given to me by my grandfather. Jen learned to shoot from a friend of ours.
This is where our friends taught me how to shoot guns for the first time. I hate guns, so that was very scary for me. The whole time I was saying, this is creepy.
My mother has never been physically violent with us, but the rage that she has makes it a possibility for us. We started locking our doors. We changed the code on the garage door. I was afraid my mom was gonna barge in the door. We have to protect family.
Okay, so y'all now have guns in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've spent a lot of time around, I'm from Texas, I spent a lot of time around guns, and my wife is actually a FBI certified marksman. You don't play with guns, and let me tell you the most likely thing that's going to happen, the most likely person who's going to get shot with that gun is you. You don't need to be having a gun around. You're not prepared, you're not ready to be, you're not going to shoot somebody other than yourself with a gun. That's not a good idea. She is not safe with a gun. Take it from me, this is what I do. This is not safe. You don't want to be, what are you going to shoot your mother?
No, and I said that from the beginning.
Well, then get those guns out of there. She's not prepared to be handling a gun.
We didn't buy a gun for the specific purpose of shooting my mother, no. See,
that's good news. You should, that's the thing on the plus side here.
The incidents kind of leading up to getting the gun opened our eyes to the fact that we need to be able to protect ourselves better.
Yes, you want to do that, but not with firearms. That's inappropriate here. Do you agree you have an anger problem with her, or do you have an anger problem in general?
No, I have an anger problem with her.
With her. Brad's mother recently left this angry voicemail for Brad and Jen.
My mom does call and leave threatening voicemails.
You've eliminated us from your life. So I'm just abiding by your wishes, and I don't care. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I don't care. You guys can all go to hell.
I have a recording of my mom saying that she doesn't want to be my mother anymore.
So I'm eliminating you all from my life. And you can take your daughter and do whatever you want.
She'll also send text messages, she'll send emails, she'll write letters. I finally had enough and called her and told her to stop calling, stop writing, to stop.
I don't care. My heart is closed. I don't care about anyone anymore.
Okay. Now, is that a truthful voicemail? Do you mean what you said in that voicemail?
Yes, I do.
No, come on. You don't. See, that was a litmus test question.
See,
Donna, you don't mean that.
I would do anything for my kids.
But you,
and I've done
you
a
don't
lot
answer,
for my kids.
You don't answer questions.
No, I will answer your question.
Then please do. The question was, do you mean what you said in that email? You're out of my life, you're eliminated, and I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
I got to the point that I don't want to be hurt anymore. And so I put up a brick wall, I turn off my feelings so nobody can hurt me.
The question was, is that a truthful email where you said, I don't care?
At that time, yes. I'm tired of being hurt.
Is it true today?
My brick wall is still up.
Why are you wasting your time and my time together? You know you care. You care desperately. That's why you are behaving so desperately. That's why you are clinging so hard, pursuing so aggressively, trying so desperately to change the dynamic here because you care so much. You are hurt. You feel rejected. Your son has another woman in his life. She is everything that you don't want for him. You think she uses him. You think she abuses him. You think she doesn't carry her own weight. You think she doesn't care for him and take care of him and do for him the way you have and could and would. Instead, you think she's just a parasite that drains him and takes from him and bleeds him dry. And you care very much about all of that. You miss this child that you want, that's an extension of your son that you want to have a connection with. You miss your son. You want to have a connection with him. And if you could just get rid of her, everything would be fine. You care very much about this, which is why you are so desperately angry. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. But Jen, I mean, she feels the same way about me. Because, yes, she does.
And we're not talking about her, we're talking about you. You are a master at deflection. The problem is I'm better. What's good about her?
I suppose she probably takes good care of my granddaughter. I wouldn't know because I don't get to see her.
Boy, you were so close. What's good about her?
I don't know a whole lot.
Come on,
that's
it won't
good
break
about.
your jaw. If it does, I'll wire it shut for you. What's good about her?
I don't know much that's good about her.
Oh, come on.
She's spoiled. And
look, my wife is spoiled. I love spoiling my wife.
I love spoiling my grandsons, too.
There you go. What's wrong with that? You love somebody, you want to do nice things for them. I'm glad that you had a nice life.
And I thought I
hope
did.
you continue to have a nice life.
And I thought I did nice things for them. I was there.
So what's the good about her?
She supported them when they were building the house.
There you go. What else?
I don't know. I suppose she probably takes good care of my granddaughter. I wouldn't know because I don't get to see her.
Oh, boy, you were so close. You were so close. Is she intelligent?
Well, she went to college. She got a degree.
Hey, she's got a nursing degree. Let me tell you, I've taken a lot of the courses they have to take in anatomy and physiology and biochemistry, and this is not easy stuff. So she's got to be intelligent to have passed that. And then you have to pass a licensing exam. Nurses are very sophisticated professionals. You have to give her that. At least academically, you have to say that she's very sophisticated. Not based on opinion, but based on objective. Let me tell you, nurses are the absolute backbone of the healthcare system. And she's had to pass very sophisticated objective measures. So you have to admit, based on objective measures, she's intelligent, right?
Sure.
What else do you know about someone that's done this? You know that she has the ability to set a long-term goal, meet deadlines, stick with it, and achieve that long-term goal. You know that about her, right? Because when you go to college, you have to get along with people that don't have to get along with you, your professors. You have to make deadlines. You have to work long hours and do practicums and externships and all of that type thing. You have to perform, so that means you got to have a lot of motivation. Am I true? Huh?
Yeah.
I've got two sisters that are nurses, by the way. So I know a lot about this. So you know that about her, right? See, if you just look, you could find those things. She's very articulate. Would you agree with that? She has great word power.
But you have all the good things. You know, you don't.
Oh, it could be turned to evil.
Bypassing all the old
No. I'm not saying
problems.
Even the good things could be turned to evil. I'm just saying, but you have to acknowledge they're there, right? She's articulate.
Right.
Do you agree she's very attractive?
Yes.
What a handsome couple. I bet they make great-looking babies. So aren't there some really nice things? And does your son love her?
Yes, he does.
So aren't you thrilled that he found someone in this world that he loves and that loves him back? I mean, wouldn't you celebrate that? Isn't that a victory for him? Isn't that what we want for our children? I have a son that's married that's about your age, and he just loves his wife and has 2 little grandkids. And I celebrate every day that he found a woman that he loves and that they have babies and are healthy and happy and just make a great family. I celebrate that every day. Robin celebrates that every day. And when we get together as a family and all, it's here they are. That's my oldest son, Jay, and that's his wife, Erica, and their 2 little babies, London and Avery. And you want to be in that kind of picture, right?
Well, even before all this happened, she wouldn't come over to our house for family meals or
that's a yes, right?
Any Christmas. No.
That's a yes. You want to be in that kind of picture.
She doesn't want to be part of our family.
But that's a yes. You want to be in that kind of picture, right?
Sure.
And you want to be in that kind of picture, right? You want to have an extended family where you guys can love and support each other and go have girl talk and stuff like that and kind of gang up on him sometimes and have fun.
You have to love him because when they got married, he wrote all the thank you notes for all the gifts.
It's not true. He did for your family. I did for
my
mine.
family, yes.
I did
for
my
family.
And I have a huge.
You don't miss a chance, do you?
I sent a gift to the baby shower. I did not get a thank you note.
Yeah.
I sent a gift. Even your godmother wasn't invited to the baby shower. Your godmother.
What'd you sent a rocking horse or a rocking chair?
I gave them a rocking chair. She didn't
Brad
say
says his
thank
mother's
you.
erratic behavior has made him change the garage codes, lock his doors, and tell his neighbors to call the police if they see his mother on his property line. Talk about that when we come back.
I never had any issues with Jen until the last year. Jen is very beautiful. She's delicate.
There's just been so much hurt.
But she's very high maintenance. Jen's feelings are hurt constantly.
I feel like it comes out in anger from her.
In the beginning, my mom really liked Jen and would even come to her defense.
Donna loved me in the beginning. Donna was supportive of me and Brad being together, but no, I don't think I'll ever trust her.
Well, Donna says she not only hates John Lara, but if that is true, then why is she sabotaging her son's business on Facebook?
Donna has tried sabotaging Brad on Facebook several times.
She had posted that I do poor tile work. On a picture of our house, she put that it was cold and unfeeling. On a thread that I had going with a client, she had posted that kids are always costing their parents money. It got so bad that I banned her from my business page.
Did you do that?
They made a comment on Facebook that said, babies are sure expensive. And my comment was, kids are always expensive.
Well, I've got
always
your comments.
expensive.
I'm asking you if you went on there and said he did shoddy work.
He did. He tiled my house.
I understand. My question is, did you go on his Facebook page and say that he did shoddy work?
I made a comment that said my grout was coming out.
No, that's not what you said. You said he did shoddy work. That is not an essay question. The question is, did you go on his Facebook and say he did shoddy work? That's a yes or no question. The answer is yes. I've read it. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And did you happen to mention the fact that the reason that the grout popped up was because your other son left the faucet run all night and the floor soaked up all the water and it popped all the tile back up?
Do I have to be here for this tile discussion?
You don't.
I don't think you're a bad tile guy.
Thank
if I had some tile work, I would call you. Seriously. I mean, you seem like a very exacting young man, and I suspect you got a lot of direction and training from her, and you seem to me like you would be very buttoned up as a contractor.
I will take you on any time you want. I can drive a dump truck.
I bet you can.
I can dig with a backhoe. I can use a skid loader. I can do anything that anybody asks of me.
I bet you can. That's why I said I would suspect that he had good direction from you. I was giving you a compliment. I wasn't trying to pick a fight. Don't you run a dump truck over me. Look, here's the thing. I want you to have a relationship with your family. I want you to have a relationship with this grandbaby. But you've got to understand you have made yourself very prickly. And listen, is she perfect? No, of course not. She's young. She's going to burn the turkey. She's going to say things she shouldn't say.
She has to cook it first. He cooks.
Oh.
I clean.
Why do I like you?
Because I can come and I can dig your basement for you. I can put in a sewer lateral. I can do it all.
I don't know why I like you, because you're just obnoxious.
Why would I complain now?
Is that yes?
I did say yes before.
Oh, yeah, just
but
say
he
yes.
didn't want you there.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. There's a point at which you have to be back to common sense. You've got to recognize you got to go along to get along, and you have to be willing to just have an accepting spirit.
It's a two-way street.
It is a two-way street, but you're the adult here. You're the mother. You're
No,
the
she's
matriarch.
an adult,
I know,
too.
but you're the matriarch in this family. You're his mother, and I'm going to tell him some things here in a minute, but you've got to listen, when I started dating Robin, we're just 3 years apart. Everybody thinks she's a trophy wife because I've looked like this. No, seriously, I've looked like this since I was 12. And when I first went to date her the first time, you were 19?
Yes.
And I was 23 and looked exactly like I do right now. And so I rang the doorbell, and her daddy's like,
How old
"How
is
you
he?
doing here, boy?" So I'm here to pick up your daughter. No, you're not. And so we had to pull out a driver's license. I'm only 3 years older. It's okay, But you know what? He made an effort. He made an effort, and it worked out. And I might not have been who he would have picked for her, but because she picked me, they made an effort and let me kind of grow on them, across time. Didn't turn out too bad, did it? We've been married almost 40 years. We've been together 43 years. But you've got to, every situation needs a hero, and you've got to make an effort here, and you've got to be forgiving here. And let me say to you, when you're married, it is your job to manage your people, and it's your job to manage your people. It's not your job to manage his people and his job to manage your people. We have to manage our own people because we brought them and we're the ones that have the history with them. So it's your job to manage your mother. And she needs to understand that you're in for a penny, in for a pound. I get the feeling that aside from this, that you two have a very nice relationship. A very loving relationship. And I got a feeling that aside from this, I'm not saying everything's perfect, but from everything we could learn in talking to y'all, I've been doing this a long time. Did we ask y'all a lot of questions or what? But I got the feeling that there's a lot of joy in this relationship and a lot of laughter in that home. And I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, aren't they a nice young couple? Seriously? And you should be really proud of that because you raised a very nice young man here, and he is a reflection on you. You get a lot of credit for raising a very nice young man here. And you should be proud of your mother, because aside from this particular pain that she's having of recognizing that there's another woman in her son's life that's kind of painful adjustment for her, your job is to manage her. And she needs to understand from you, Mom, I really love you. I want you in my life now and forevermore. But this is the next phase of my life. And I have an absolute, undivided loyalty to my wife.
And I've told these things.
And you draw from different accounts. You have a romantic love account that you draw from with your wife, and a maternal love account that you draw on from your mother, and those are completely separate. You know, loving her 100% still allows you to love her 100%. They're completely different. If it wasn't, it would be like really creepy. Those are completely different things. She is not at your expense at all, and she is not at your expense at all. They're very, very different. And if it comes down to, well, you just need to pick, you're going to lose 100 out of 100 times, or you need your head examined, because a man stands by his wife and family against all others. And if she chooses to be an adversary and forces that choice, it's an easy choice, right? You choose your wife and your child. Absolutely. And if you have to live in isolation, you do that. What you must do is just work hard and pray that she not create those ultimatums, and find ways to include your mother and support him in having a relationship with his mother. Be forgiving. She has said she hates you 9 ways from Sunday. She hates you. Wouldn't swerve the car if you were in the crosswalk. But she doesn't really mean that. It's just pain. She doesn't really hate you. I don't believe she hates you. She's just hurting, and she's scared, and so she's lashing out. Be understanding about that. And you be understanding that she's just a young wife and mother trying to find her way through this. But your loyalty is here, and it has to be.
Absolutely.
And I hope, and seriously, I would love for the two of y'all to sit down with a professional counselor and try to broker a peace. And I will make that arrangement for you if you will let me. You would participate in that, right? Say yes.
Yeah.
And say yes and mean it.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Would you do that?
I wanted to before.
That isn't the question.
I said I wanted to before, so why would I complain now?
We wouldn't be on TV if you said yes before.
Is that yes?
I did say yes before.
Oh, yeah, just
but
say
he
yes.
Didn't want you there.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. My best advice for managing in-laws when we come back. I think that family is so very important. And, you know, the truth is we live in a very different world than we used to. It's a much more transient world. It's a much more fast-paced world. And that means that family is a more important anchor than it's ever been. Now, I've written a new book, the first one I've written in 5 years. It's called Life Code, The New Rules for Winning in the Real World. And it is based on the fact that we do live in a different world. The challenges are different. The rules are different. And when the rules change, you got to throw out the rule book because there has to be a new one. And so I've written what I think is important. And I'm going to talk in that book and tell you about how the world really works. Not how you wish it worked, not how it should work, but how it really works. And you're going to read this and say, Dr. Phil, good grief, I can't believe you said some of this, because I'm promising you this is not politically correct and it is irreverent, but I'm going to tell you the truth, and it's going to be a truth that you need to hear. And I'm very proud to say that my book is actually being published by my son, Jay's publishing company, and right now it can only be purchased through their online bookstore, thebooknook.com, where it's available in an exclusive pre-sale. And everybody in the audience today is going home with a copy. All right? And I will tell you, you are among the first people in America to actually have this book. And I think you will really enjoy it. If you're worried about problems with a future mother-in-law, watch out for warning signs. If a future mother-in-law treats her son like a child and competes with you, be afraid, be very afraid. If a future mother-in-law is overly dependent on her son for emotional and lifestyle support, be afraid. If that mother-in-law attacks your character, be very afraid. I'll have more warning signs and advice on managing your in-laws on drphil.com. And daughter-in-laws, son-in-laws, remember, you're in-laws too. It's your job to get along. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My dad is definitely a deadbeat dad.
3 kids desperate for their father's attention.
You haven't seen 2 of them for 5 months. You haven't seen Caitlin for a year. Not once in a year?
A child shouldn't have to strive for their dad's love.
He blames their mother.
I am not allowed to go to her home. She put a block on the phone so I couldn't call my kids. Yeah, I do have a lot of excuses, and all of them are mostly because you can't let go of me.
After all that's happened.
Why are you angry with your children?
Because they're on her side.
Can these kids
You didn't even look at me when you sat down.
get their dad back?
You know why I can't look at you?
Why, Dad? Do I remind you too much of my mom?
Probably so.
Why is everything Mom's fault?
This isn't about father and mother problems. This is about a deadbeat dad.
Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, 3, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Well, today I'm going to talk to 2 sisters and their brother who say they desperately need my help. Now, their parents divorced 9 years ago, and now they say their dad is, well, they say he's a deadbeat. One of them got a letter from their dad when she was just 12 years old that she wanted to share with me. Take a look.
This is a letter my dad sent to me in 7th grade, and it really broke my heart. Hey, baby girl. I haven't called in a while, and I probably won't call again for a while. I wanted to let you know that what's going on from my side. Your mom and I can't seem to communicate without her being completely ridiculous. I am faced with a dilemma by your mother and allowing her to abuse you guys by holding your visits over my head. Or I can give up my parental rights to you guys. By law, I have no claim to you as your father. I couldn't see you or talk to you if your mother doesn't permit me to. You're not much different than now, huh? Fortunately, it only affects us until you're 18. It's not by desire, but out of necessity of survival that I must follow this course of action. Talk it over and let me know, or else I'm going to go through this path, and I hope it won't affect the way you feel for me, your dad, forever.
Well, that was 17-year-old Amber. Now, her 19-year-old brother, Zach, says he is so mad at their dad that he wrote him a Facebook message telling him all the ways that he needs to change.
My dad doesn't give a crap about my family. He puts us at the very bottom of his priority list. It upsets me a lot. I'm about to leave for the military in a few weeks. The fact that you haven't messaged me to say you wanted to hang out really bothers me. This is part of a recent Facebook message that I sent to my dad. Dad, the bottom line is I want my dad back. The dad I used to have that would sit down and have talks with me about whatever and not really judge me. And I miss the dad that used to hold his head up high and put his kids before anything else. His real kids. Look, Dad, I love you, I do, and that's why I'm the only kid of yours that hasn't totally given up on you, because I think you have the potential to be our dad again, but you do have a lot of work to do.
Well, you just heard from brother and sister Zach and Amber, and they've not seen their dad in 5 months, but for their younger sister, Caitlin, it's been over a year. Now, Caitlin actually wrote me a letter, and so since we're kind of reading letters and messages here, Caitlin, why don't you read me some of yours?
All right. Dear Dr. Phil, I was wondering if you can help me knock some sense into my deadbeat dad. I'm 16 and I hate my dad. He would fail to show up on weekends that it was his turn. He wouldn't provide insurance, and he doesn't pay, and it irks me because I don't want to do things I don't want to do. I don't even know if I could stand to see him because every time he somehow has stuff he needs to do instead. Dr. Phil, what do I do to get everything across to him?
So, if you still want to get his attention, if you still want to get some things across to him, then you must still care about having him as a father.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why? What is it you want?
Well, we used to be able to hang out and have fun and play board games and act like a true family, but now it just seems like we can't even do that anymore without him complaining about something or just not being there.
You say you haven't seen him in over a year.
Yeah.
And you say there are at least 20 meetings that he has set up and failed to show for.
Yeah, several
20 times he said, I'll be there, I'll do this, I'll do that, and didn't show.
No.
So what do you say to yourself when that happens? When 15, 16, 17 happens, what are you saying to yourself?
I tell myself, maybe he'll come around next time. Maybe he'll be there for me sometime, but he just doesn't end up being there. I mean, I've tried writing to him, I've tried doing all this, but he just doesn't.
Do you still want a relationship with him, Zach?
Yeah, you know, what son doesn't want a relationship with his dad, you know? I've had a really hard time growing up and trying to grow up into a man without, you know, a really strong fatherly figure there for me, you know? And it hurts even worse when I see he's not there for my little sisters. So, I mean, if he can work it out and he can, you know, man up and do the things he needs to, I'd love to have a relationship with him.
And you still want it, or are you done?
I do. I want a relationship with my dad. I want him to be there for me when I have tough times, when I have good times, where I could just call him up and be like, hey, Dad, guess what I did today? I just did something remarkable, or I got straight A's, and I could just talk to my dad about anything, and he's not there to do that, and he doesn't care to be.
Well, what would you say if I told you that he says that you guys are just a bunch of drama queens?
I would say that's a very classic Todd thing to say.
Yeah.
He always blames everyone else for everything.
Well, actually, he says y'all are drama queens. He says he doesn't even really know you.
We don't really talk. For the past year, we've had an occasional text message or email, but he doesn't really try. Like, I try emailing him, a couple days he'll try, or sometimes I won't even know if he has a cell phone or anything, really.
So he doesn't answer when y'all text him?
I don't have a cell phone, but like every time I message him, it takes him several days to weeks to message back.
Well, let's hear what their parents have to say, and then we'll bring out Mom and Dad.
Todd always says he's going to pay his child support, and then it never comes through.
My dad is definitely a deadbeat dad.
Some of Todd's excuses for not paying his child support: he hasn't gotten paid from his last job. He has to buy stuff around the house. He had to pay all of his bills, and he's going broke.
One of my favorite excuses that he's ever made is he just doesn't feel like he should because we're all pretty much grown up.
Yeah, there's always an excuse. There's a reason why I'm not paying it. It's because I don't have it. You can't pay what you don't have.
Todd is currently 5.5 months behind in child support.
I think right now I'm behind about a month and a half.
The financial strain that this whole situation has caused has been unreal.
My mom hasn't been able to pay for our clothes, and I've had to get a job. My sister's had to get a job. We've had to be late for paying bills.
My dad was supposed to pay for driver's ed, but he didn't come through.
Everybody is making a big deal out of the support thing. Certainly if I had the steady income that their mother has, I would be able to give them everything that they need.
If Todd doesn't pay his child support, he thinks he's hurting me. Not paying child support doesn't hurt me, it hurts these kids.
My dad always claims he doesn't have enough money, but he has enough to support his new family and himself.
I have taken Todd to court at least 12 times for child support.
I think that we both have responsibilities towards taking care of the kids. So in a nutshell, I think Heidi should be making up for the difference if she can afford it. And if I can't afford it, then no, I shouldn't.
I am 100% always the one that steps up for these kids.
I think I'm getting made out to be a bad guy.
Okay. Tell me what your goal is here today. What would have to happen for you to go, this was a home run, I'm glad we had this time together?
Well, Dr. Phil, I love my kids. I want to spend time with them. I always have wanted to spend time with them. My goal today is that we can break down the barriers. There's a lot of lies that are going on right now, in particular on what my part has been in the past and how many times, out of those 20 visits that were set up and so on, most of them were Heidi's fault why I couldn't come. Only 3 of them did I cancel on. The rest of them, she wouldn't let me get there to pick them up because I was running too late for her schedule.
I kind of approach these things in a real simple and fundamental way, which is very results-oriented. And you have not seen Caitlin in a year. Now, and I got to be honest, just like I ask you guys to be honest, and tell you, I am very skeptical that there is any theory under which you would not see a child of yours for a year, whether it's money, jobs, ex-wife, conflicting schedules. In a year, you can't arrange to get in front of your own child and hold her hand, look her in the eye, talk to her, be with her, not once in a year? Now, how are you a victim in that regard? I don't get that. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest with you. I
No,
don't.
absolutely. A year ago, my daughter Amber went through back surgery. Her mom didn't even want me to be there. She did everything, including not even tell me the time that it was going to be there. If it wasn't for Amber...
But you don't need her permission.
I understand that. But if I am not allowed to go to her home, if I can't even communicate with her... She put a block on the phone so I couldn't call my kids. She grounded her from Facebook.
Because Caitlin asked.
She grounded her from Facebook, so I had no way of contacting her. The only way that I could do it is to go out there. Last year in September,
you can meet them at Walmart.
I'm not done. When I'm done, you can talk.
You need to be respectful of them too. Instead of telling lies.
Okay, I lost a partnership that I had where the business was going down. I had no money. I had the $2,000 I got last September that I got from the job, selling my part of the job. I took all of it and paid it towards child support so I could get caught up on it.
Isn't that your
I had to borrow money
responsibility to be caught up? Isn't it your responsibility to pay your child support and to be caught up?
Listen, I understand you don't want to be interrupted, but neither can you filibuster.
Okay,
you have to give these people an opportunity to respond.
Absolutely.
What did you want to say?
I called and I told you the basic information for Amber's surgery. Then I told you the rest of it was on you. It is your responsibility as a parent, if you and I don't get along, call the stupid hospital and get that information. You made it up there. No, I don't want to deal with it.
I shouldn't have had to call the hospital. You should have told me where my daughter is going to have surgery.
I did
Amber,
tell you.
What do you want to say?
When it was going on.
Hold on. What do you want to say?
With the job thing, Dad, you have an education. You have more of an education than Mom, and yet you could get a stable job. You've had a stable job, and you left it to get your wife, fix things with your second wife.
I didn't leave things to fix anything with my second wife.
You told
I
me.
came back here to be with you. I never told you that.
Yes, you did. And also for my surgery, you're my dad. You shouldn't have to go through with my mom, who you know you guys don't have a good relationship with. Couldn't you just do it and have responsibility to yourself?
I did. I didn't even talk to her. I was nice and polite to everyone. She was the one that came and was rude.
Why is everything Mom's fault? So what if she's rude? She has hostilities for you for a really good reason.
What about when Amber came to live with you and you were supposed to put her through therapy? You decided that, you couldn't try to put the money...
You know why? Because I had to put that $1,500 into a lawyer because your mom was trying to get back at me for being late on child support, which I just happened to pay and get caught up that day. I get a letter in the mail.
If you couldn't support yourself, why the hell did you go and get married and support a whole other family? Your wife didn't even have a job, and she had three kids,
Amber,
and then you accepted Adrian, who's the homeless kid in your house.
I work 3 jobs sometimes at a time and can't support myself because that's just the way the economy is.
Well, then why don't you look at getting a different job?
You have an education.
Why is that their fault?
You're fluent in Spanish, Dad. What can you not do anything with that?
All right, time out. We're going to take a break here. Everybody take a deep breath. We're going to find out what Todd really thinks about his kids and how it's affecting them. Now, he has some other opinions and feelings. We'll hear what they are when we come back.
Feels like I don't do the right things. I can never get his attention. I can't do anything. It's heartbreaking, honestly, because a child shouldn't have to strive for their dad's love. He just shouldn't have to.
Zach, our relationship has been a roller coaster. Amber, wow, way too intense, girl. You need to just take a chill pill and relax and let's work together. Caitlin, I don't even know her. I don't know her. I have no idea what she thinks, what she feels. I don't know why she does the things that she does. My kids are very dramatic. They should all be actors.
Caitlin, what do you want to say?
Wow.
You don't know me because you haven't tried. I understand you get occasional text messages, but it's not enough. I'm a kid and I want my dad there. Every time you try, you just don't. It doesn't seem like you want to be there. It seems like you have to be there for me.
Every time I tried calling you last fall, every time I text you, every time I tried Facebooking you, there was no response there. Eventually, you try and you try and you try, and then what can you do? If you're not getting a response on the other side, I didn't have a job. I didn't start working until January, from September till January. I tried looking for a job. I went and applied all kinds of places. We're in a recession during this time period.
That's been going on for 9 years, Todd.
Yeah,
for you, for 9 years.
And a miracle that I have money at all to be able to pay for anything.
It's your responsibility.
I had a great job, and you, Heidi, wouldn't even allow, which you're court ordered to pay for half of the travel.
I said
and you told the kids that you weren't going to pay for it.
No,
I don't know what the two of you are doing involving children over the last 9 years.
I agree.
And
shouldn't be at all.
In the financial aspects of this marriage, I am interested in what you said on that tape. You said, I don't even know Caitlin. She's 16 years old, and you don't know her? How do you feel about saying that?
I feel horrible. This is my baby girl. And Dr. Phil, the truth of the matter is, you have to work. And you know what? She gets child support. She has a husband that makes money, and she has money. And she still can't seem to raise these kids.
You kids don't even need to attend to this because it doesn't involve you, but I'm curious about a couple of things here. First off, the court adjudicated this divorce, and they made a custody ruling and a child support ruling, correct? And
yes, it is.
And so you were ordered to pay certain things. Mm-hmm. They didn't say, unless you don't think it's fair. They said, here's what the ruling is, that's what to do. You do acknowledge that, even though you don't agree with it.
I totally acknowledge
okay,
and I agree with it.
Okay,
I agree with it so long as it's fair. Now, a man should be able to live.
Okay, but wait a minute. I don't really care. Let me finish. I don't really care whether you agree with it or not, and I'm certain that the judge doesn't. They make a decision, and you have the right to go in and appeal that or change that, but so long as it's there, you don't just decide, well, she's got money, she doesn't need it. And then you say, I only make $12,000 a year. Okay, now, I did some research. You're in Illinois. The minimum wage in Illinois is $8.25 an hour. If you were working just at minimum wage, you would make $330 a week. You would make $17,160 a year. But you say you're only making $12,000. So you're a college graduate, and you're not even making minimum wage. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I made last year, yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm asking. Then you also said that one of the reasons is that you're working 70 to 80 hours a week. Well, if you were working 70 to 80 hours a week, then you would be making $34,000 a year, not $17,000 a year, but you say that you're making just $12,000 a year. So I can't figure it out.
You want to be real, let's keep it real, okay? Out of what I've made, that total income, I have employees I have to pay taxes, I have a truck, I have insurance, I have to buy new tools.
You get all your money under the table, Dad.
Wait. My question to you is, if you're in a profession where after expenses and given the up and downs, you're only making $12,000 a year, you could go to the fast food industry and more than double your income. You could more than double your income. You're saying, I'm trying to take care of my kids. Honest to God, you could go work
in the fast food industry, and that's why I couldn't ever visit them, because they always had you working late at night.
Well, Todd has so many reasons why he can't pay his child support to see his kids that I wanted to listen.
And then if I'm late,
here's what you say. You say, I can't pay because I don't have it. You can't pay what you don't have, right?
That's true.
You just can't get blood out of a turnip, right? Okay, he's changed jobs, and so not making money, only made $12,000 last year. As a contractor, it takes 60 to 90 days to get paid. Says when one parent can take care of the kids and the other can't, you just make up for it. You come together and you make up for it. Don't have a steady income like Heidi does. I live off very little bit, and every bit of my money goes to just get by. They don't understand. I get behind on bills, and health insurance is very expensive. I work 78 hours a week, so there's just no time. I do work late hours. I struggle with gas money, and so I often can't afford the trip. And in the wintertime, absolutely not, because I don't get paid as a contractor because it shuts down, right? It's hard to justify spending $80 on a trip plus food for just an hour visit. And on holidays, they're busy. They make plans, and it's too hurtful being rejected and ignored. Heidi blocked my phone, so I couldn't call them. She grounds the kids if they talk to me. You think she punishes them if they talk to you?
They've said that. That's their words. I was just reiterating what they had told me, Dr. Phil.
So she's trying to keep you apart.
She is trying to keep us apart.
Is that true?
That is so not true. These kids are teenagers. They have the right.
You're such a liar.
Excuse me.
Such a liar.
You told me to be quiet. Now be respectful yourself. I know that's difficult. It is your responsibility as their parent, if they're coming down to see you, to provide transportation.
Hang on,
Amber
wait.
said,
They got to go on 4
again,
cruises, too.
We've been
in the
on
last
one,
3
and that was
years.
to help me through my surgery, Dad.
That was not to help you through the surgery.
Todd, does it
Do you know what it's
really
like to
matter?
go without food?
Does it
Do you know what it's like to go without clothing? To lose your apartment, your
Do you have
truck,
a
and your
rod to your
trailer?
back? Are you freaking kidding me? Do you even have an idea of what she goes through on a daily basis?
I do.
Does it really matter if I took them on a cruise, whether or not you see your children? She drove down there.
Heidi,
I didn't
let's
stop
not
them.
play these games. You know darn well.
always a game.
You know darn well that you have kept them away from me for as much time as you possibly can. And you even say, and I've got witnesses who have heard you say this, that you want to keep them and make my life as a living hell. Let's be real
I'm
here.
the one
Quit
taking
coming
care
out
of
here
them.
like you're some angel. That
No, I did block your
I do
phone
have
for
a
a
lot of
period of time
excuses why I
because
haven't seen my
you were
kids.
hurting
And all of
my
them are
kids.
mostly because you can't let go of me.
I hate you. I love them.
Why do you hate me?
Because you hurt
I haven't
my
done anything
children
to you.
time and time again.
I paid you the first 3 years we were divorced.
Come on.
This
Her and
isn't
I.
about
It's not
father
about you, too.
and mother problems. This is about a deadbeat dad.
All right, stop talking. Let me ask you a question. Why are you angry with your children?
Because they're on her side. They don't see, Dr. Phil, they don't see all the times that I've come home crying because I went to pick up my kids. I get halfway there, and she tells me on the phone, you're going to be more than 5 minutes late. You don't get to have the kids. It doesn't fit into her little schedule.
Okay, but why are you angry with your children? You haven't seen 2 of them for 5 months.
That was their choice.
You haven't seen 1 of them for a year.
Her choice.
And you come out here, you don't even acknowledge them when you first come out here.
You didn't even look at me when you sat down.
You know why I can't look at you?
Why, Dad? Did I remind you too much of my mom?
Probably so.
Is that it? Because you can't
Probably
face
so.
the truth coming out of anything? You can't face it straight on?
Did you just say I can't look at you because you do remind me of your mother? Perhaps that's true.
Her behavior is, you see the way she's like, blah, 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 blah. Her mom is like the most rude person I've ever met in my life. I'm a nice guy. Everybody knows me. No, I'm serious. You guys laugh. I'm the nicest person that most people will ever meet. I go into a job site. People are delighted that I'm there. I do charity work. I work with people at church. I do a lot of these things. I've been trying to include the kids in doing these things. They don't want to be involved in doing nice things for other people. They just want... We want to go and have fun. We want to go on cruises. We want you to take us bowling. I don't have the money to take you bowling. I'm sorry. Let's do something at home. Let's watch a movie. That's not good enough.
House.
Okay, wait a minute.
All right, hold on.
Zach,
All right,
that's
let's
enough.
take a
That's
break
enough.
here.
That's
Next,
enough.
we're going to find out why Todd's kids say they want nothing to do with his new wife. We'll talk about that when we come back.
I think they're jealous of her because she gets my time and attention. She's my wife. She is my #1 priority.
Rolanda's definitely a selfish, two-faced, conniving, and backstabbing woman.
Well, I'm here with Heidi and her 3 kids, Caitlin, Zach, and Amber, and they're very upset with their dad. They say, look, he needs to grow up. He needs to be a good father. Todd says if his kids just made more of an effort to be part of his new family and get along with his new wife, then perhaps things could be different. Let me introduce, this is your current wife, right?
This is Rolanda, yes.
Okay, Rolanda. Now, if I were you, at one level, I would be very flattered that I had 3 children that were making such a gargantuan effort to close the relationship with me as a father.
They could have called me.
Okay.
They didn't have to
We
put
didn't
it
have
on.
your cell phone number because you didn't give it to us.
I don't know, Zach.
I'd
I
asked
seem
you
to
for
have Facebooked you that same number 3 times. Because I didn't get it, Dad. It's on there.
Isn't it weird how you say you couldn't
Amber
call
has
his
it.
mom blocked
When the
us, but you
studio
could've
called me, they
messaged us
called
when
me
we
by
were
my
the
cell
last
phone
time
number
you
that you
talked
gave
to
As
it.
soon as he got the phone, he messaged you guys. I read the message.
I got the message saying that, hey, Amber, can you give Zach
Okay,
He
but
sends
what
you
do
messages.
you-
phone number?
He
No,
tries
it's all
to
about
talk to
how
you
I
What do you-
all
hold
of
on.
the time.
What do
He
you
tries.
want? What would you like for your children?
Don't speak to me like that, young
Don't.
lady.
speak to you how I
Amber,
No, you can't.
let Dr.
Okay.
Phil talk, please. He's
Oh,
asking
hold
me a
on.
question.
Did you
All
hear
right, hold
this? Are you going to come over here and do something about that?
Look, that's not
Relax.
what we're here for.
Relax.
No. That's not what we're here for. And we don't need sarcasm, and we don't need these resentful tones between people. And whether you two think so or not, I take family. Why? What is your? What are you? I'm sorry.
I'm Dr. Phil. I told my husband before he did this. Okay, I said, you know, this is another opportunity for your ex-wife and your children to try to humiliate you. This is what I've seen in the 2 years, okay, that we've known each other, constantly. And I have watched my husband be belittled. I have watched my husband be insulted. I have heard lies, okay, just being screamed across the stage. And yeah, I'm a little upset.
Whether you guys think so or not, I take family very, very seriously. And I know this for sure. These two young ladies very much need a healthy relationship with their father.
agree.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a point at which they will begin making decisions about relationships with men, getting married, doing things where having the father in their lives that they can consult with and counsel with and really kind of be their friend at the factory to say, you know, let me tell you about guys, let me say some things about this, can be invaluable information for them. And if they have a damaged relationship with a father, that can make them very vulnerable to being kind of overly hungry for acceptance from a man.
I agree.
So I can't tell you how much I support you healing a relationship with your daughters and having an open exchange of communication here. Talk about that when we come back. I asked each one of them before you came out, do you want still a relationship with your father? And each one of them said, yes, I do. I want that. I need that. I've come here to get that. Now, they have frustrations, and they are entitled to vent those things. You have a side of this that you feel like they need to hear, and you say that hasn't come out, but I think it has come out, and I can paraphrase it for you, and you can tell me if I'm hearing it properly. You're saying that, look, I do want a relationship with my children, but the fact of the matter is that behind the scenes and under the table, this woman has been sabotaging that. She has put obstacles in the way every chance that she can. She has actually brainwashed them by telling them what a no-good guy that I am. And I want them to know there's another side to this story, and here's what it is. Have I missed anything?
I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay,
so
so I have been listening, and you have been able to say that since you got out here, despite the fact that it hasn't been received well.
Right.
Just because they
Communication.
don't agree with you, that doesn't mean that it hasn't been said. You haven't had the opportunity to do it. So you have.
They have to understand that what Dad is saying is not all like their mom is saying, that there are some legitimate things that people do in life that unfortunately you have to do. I've put jobs aside. I lost a job because I was putting them first.
At some point, as the father, is it maybe appropriate to not yell back at them, but to just say, look, tell me what you need from me. And if I have failed you in some way as a parent, then let me explain the circumstances and conditions of that. I'm not mad at you, but I am
Right.
frustrated by the situation.
Absolutely.
Do you think maybe that would be better than yelling back and forth?
You're right. That is the better way of dealing with it. I have done that to them and with them repeatedly.
What do you want in your relationship with this one right here?
I want Amber to see the real thing that's going on between us.
Do I
I
not
want
have a
her
right
to
to
understand
see
that
this?
I love you. You were in my home. I spent time with you more than I had to give.
Do you want a relationship with her, or do you not?
Absolutely.
Because if you say my number one priority is my wife...
That's the way it should be, your relationship with your wife. Your kids is 1.1.
Really?
It's 1.1.
What does that even mean, 1.1?
What does it mean?
Like your wife's 98.9?
It means that you work... You are actually helping your kids when you work on your relationship with your wife because you're able...
We want nothing to do with your wife. We want a relationship with you.
Unfortunately, that's the way the situation is. You can't just pick and choose. You can't just pick and choose.
None of us wanted you guys to be together.
When you're married, you seem to focus on her more than us. When you're divorced, you spend time with us.
And I work from 7. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Let me let. I'm
getting.
getting. Yeah, that's all right.
The point is, since we've been married, I have seen your father try to make contact with you multiple times. I have seen your father sit on the foot of the bed in tears, crying because he can't get through to you. I have heard the phone as I dialed your number and it was blocked. Okay, so we couldn't even call you.
Did you know that?
I've gotten the nasty
for
messages.
Me. Did you know that I personally did that because every single time I talked to my father, I ended up getting in a fight with him and ended up crying and bawling my eyes out right after because he would manipulate me and then guilt trip that
And
everything was my mom's fault.
I absolutely
and he could
hate
not
that.
take responsibility for his own actions.
That's not true, Amber.
All right, we're going to take a break. What these 3 kids say they want from their dad, and it really has nothing to do with child support. It has nothing to do with money. We'll talk about that after the break.
What I want most from my dad at this point is him to just keep his promises, be a good dad, and take responsibility.
If I could have anything from my dad, it'd probably be a relationship just that isn't hostile.
If I could have anything I want from my dad, I'd want a healthy, involved relationship. I'd want him to be involved in my life. My dad, we're his kids. He's part of us, we're part of him, and he doesn't care. My dad doesn't know how much pain I'm in. Dad, do you know how many times I cry, hoping that you'll turn around and be there for me and help me through the bad and want to know who I am, want to know my favorite color, but you don't. You don't even want to spend time with me or get to know me or do anything to help support me.
Well, that was Amber talking about how painful it feels to not be connected with her father. Now, Amber and her brother and sister, Zach and Caitlin, want to know what has to happen to close this gap. What has to happen to have any chance of a normal relationship here? And, you know, I'd like Todd to listen very closely to what each of his children have to say to him. So just focus on just this for a few seconds, and then we can respond.
If my dad was sitting right here, I would say, Dad, you really wronged me my entire life. Through the physical abuse, the mental abuse, the neglect, not taking responsibility for us as your children. And you've been wrong. I'd really like you to admit that.
I could talk to my dad and him actually listen. I would tell him all my insecurities that I have with him about how I don't feel good enough, how I don't feel like I'm worth his time, how he puts his new family in front of us and how wrong that is, and how he constantly is guilt tripping us, and that's not healthy. Our relationship is not healthy and it needs fixed.
I'd say, Dad, you really need to pay attention. You need to set your priorities straight. I'm a kid that's in your life and you're rejecting, and I'm missing out, and it's hurting my feelings, and you need to be there for me.
I feel pity for you because you have 3 great kids and you don't even care.
But that's not true, is it? You do care.
It's not true.
You said earlier that she's number one priority and they're 1.1. And I get what you mean, and I disagree with you. You know, there's romantic love that you have for your partner in life, and then there's parental love that you have for your children. And those are 2 mutually exclusive accounts, so it doesn't have to be 1.1, first, second, third.
Yeah.
It's a completely different currency.
I want to have a relationship with my kids, Dr. Phil. I want to be able to call them up, to be able to say, hey, let's go do something. I paid child support. The court only ordered me to pay so much. I gave extra. When she asked me for extra, I gave extra.
That's a lie.
It wasn't always on time, and don't lie. Don't lie about this.
You
I
are
gave
lying.
extra up to 3 times
No.
what was required of me. I paid. Okay, up to 3 times.
And Todd, that
I
doesn't
gave
even-
it freely. She was
What
going to lose her car.
Todd, they're
I
asking
gave her
you why
extra
you can't
money so
see
she could
them.
pay for
Not
her car.
about back child support. They're asking why you can't see them.
Okay, it ties into it.
No,
so
it
understand
doesn't.
this. It does tie into
Todd,
it.
it's today. It's
Being
not 5
around
years
you,
ago.
Heidi.
You don't have to be around me.
You won't let me come to the
They have
house.
walked-
You won't let me have conversations with them on the phone so I can make
They have
arrangements
their
for
own
it.
cell phones.
And we all have our own licenses.
And
let me-
since they've been unblocked, I've called them, I've texted them, I've tried to Facebook
And
them.
he asked you to see him. That doesn't involve me at all. That involves your son.
Fact is, Zach, that you sent the message. I mean, he said, okay, I'll meet you on your terms.
Do you support?
Yes,
Do you support him having a relationship with these 3 children?
of course. That's why I'm here.
We'll be right back. If there's anything that you haven't had the opportunity to say that you want your kids to hear and know from your heart to them, so this is your chance to level this up so it's 100% to your liking. Say anything that you want them to know.
You guys know I love you. You know I'd do anything for you. I'm here because you guys want to fix this. So let's stop looking at the nonsense in the past and let's just fix it. Let's bury the hatchet. Let's get ourselves together. Let's communicate. Let's forget what's happened in the past and let's just do it.
Hold on. Anything else? I want to give you full opportunity to say anything you want to say.
I'm tired of all of the excuses as well. I'm tired of all the things that may or may not have happened that has created this situation. I work hard. I'm a hard worker. I believe in working hard. I'm a father that loves to know what you guys want and loves to spend time with you and do things with you. I want and I respect the fact that she is married to a very good man. And I'm very glad that he's done what he's done
Have
in
you ever
helping
said
you
that?
guys. Yes, I have
No,
to them, each one of them.
To me or to Ricky. Thank you? You've never said thank you. Hey,
don't
Ricky.
ever give me-
Hey, oh, no. Wait,
Heidi,
let me. You
Heidi,
never
I'm
said
saying it
thank you.
In order for this to work, Heidi, you and I have to work better.
We don't have to. You know what? You can
have to
communicate with them.
facilitate. You have to facilitate the means for which we can have a relationship without bias.
They have a cell phone.
Likewise,
They have.
Likewise, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and they know it. I'll come and pick you up. I'm telling you right now.
I have a question.
Name the day, the time, the hour. I will call you and continue to extend those invitations to you. Always. Let's forget the fighting. It doesn't accomplish anything. Love is what we should be feeling one for another and working towards. I love you guys. I do. I've had lots of excuses in the past, sure. Lots of things that I thought were legitimate reasons why I couldn't be there. But you know what? If you're willing to message me back when I call you, I'm there. We'll do this from now on. We're clean slate. Let's go from now on.
There's always going to be that thing in the back of my mind. That letter he sent me, it's always in the back of my mind. Everything you've done, it's always in the back of my mind, Dad.
Look, not even God can change what has happened. Okay? So, and I don't know whether he will or he won't, but I know what he's saying. Are you willing to try and move forward and see if, in fact, you guys do spend quality time together when you're available and he's available? Is that something that you're willing and open to do? And is it something you're willing and open to do?
Yeah, I'm willing to
Doesn't
try.
mean that you have to like every decision he makes or that you even have to like his wife. What you do have to do is conduct yourself with dignity and respect and don't disrespect his wife or anyone else in his life. That's an unkind thing to do, and you shouldn't do that. But he's saying if he reaches out to you, are you willing to respond to that and do that?
I am willing. I am open.
Okay, and how about you?
Yeah.
Because he says there's a lot he doesn't know about you, and you say, I don't feel good enough for you. Well, he's saying, I want you to feel good enough. He wants to spend time with you. Are you open to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're open to do that. All right. We'll be right back. I would like to thank all of my guests today, Caitlin, Zach, Amber, along with their parents and their stepmother, Heidi, Todd, Rolanda. What I want everybody to remember is, you know, the past is over. The future hasn't happened yet. The only time is right now. And the only things that you can do are what you do in the here and now. And you kids, there's no question that the adults in your life have been imperfect. They've been imperfect. They've let their agendas get in the way of what would have been some better decisions, perhaps. But then you all haven't been perfect children either. So that has kind of a balance in it. And one of the things you have to do when you recognize that you're maturing is you got to say, what can I do to make this situation better? You do have to give your dad credit for this. He is here. He did come, and he didn't come because he doesn't care about you. He didn't come because he doesn't want something to go forward. He came because he said, if this is a changing day, then I'm willing to do it. So he did what you asked him to do. Now do what he's asking you to do. And see if things can move forward in a positive way. Thanks for being here so long.
说人情冷暖，诉世间百态。大家好，欢迎收听《翠花的秘密》。今天我要给大家分享一个故事。结婚前，大家都说，在经济上不能太计较，谈钱伤感情。结婚后，我发现，谈好钱的婚姻才能皆大欢喜，反之则是一地鸡毛。我和毛利显然是后者，钱的问题还没整明白，就在父母的催促下冲进了婚姻。结婚不够半年，战事不断，情感账户彻底透支。现在想来，都觉得对方不配的两个人，心不甘情不愿地走进婚姻，搞成这样，也算咎由自取。我和毛利是相亲认识的，彼时都是大龄男女。我34岁，他32岁，介绍人是我表姐，也是毛利的同事。她说，这姑娘各方面条件都挺好，就是胖了点儿。见面后我才发现，她不止胖一点儿，而是胖很多。不到1.6米的个头，快140斤。就颜值而言，毛利不是我的理想型，但她看上去温柔贤淑，虽然话少，但眼里有活儿。两人聊天时，总是不动声色地帮对方杯子续上水。毛利对我的第一印象不错，当天就让表姐带话，愿意交往。我还在犹豫时，表姐一句话砸过来：“你都快奔4了，连套房子都没有，有什么资格嫌人家胖？”父母听说有姑娘看上我，也催我好好和人家谈，如果合适就早点定下来。我是家中独子，自从过了30，我妈就整天叨唠：“我和你爸都60多了，也不知道这辈子还能不能抱上孙子。”有时候我都想随便找个人结婚算了，什么爱不爱的，了却父母心愿，凑合过日子得了。毛利的处境和我差不多，他朋友圈里经常发一些吐槽父母的催婚日常。有一次他发圈说，如果不是父母催婚，我一个人也可以过得很好。我评论道，一个人生活固然好，自由自在，想去哪儿去哪儿，但父母这关过不了，这也是大龄未婚男女共同的悲哀。他给我回了一个大拇指， 说回毛利，她除了胖点儿，其他条件还挺不错。在一私企当会计，自己供了一套70平的小公寓，没什么特殊爱好，喜欢宅在家里研究美食。表姐天天在微信上催进度，大有过了这村就没这店的架势。父母则是天天在我耳边叨叨，软硬兼施。就这样，我们在微信上又聊了半个月左右，确定了恋爱关系。现在想想，我们的恋爱根本不是成年男女的情感需求，都是图个耳根清净。有着共同目的的恋爱，初期还算顺利。因为工作需要，我出差频繁，但每逢大小节日，我都会给毛利送上礼物，她也照单全收，然后发个朋友圈秀恩爱。那会儿，我们彼此都是真心的，关系也是愉悦的，常常一个电话能聊上几个小时，甚至为了陪她过七夕，我会占5个小时的车程赶回来。她也经常做一些点心饼干快递给我，看到适合的衣服鞋子也会悄悄买给我。我开玩笑说她胖，她就真的去了健身房，发誓要瘦下来。恋爱第4个月时，我正好在三亚做项目，便邀请她休年假过来旅行。都说旅行是考验爱情的绝佳机会，也是感情的试金石，我也想试试。可没想到毛利要带他妈一起来三亚，我只好重新订行程、机票，安排酒店，出钱又出力，陪他们玩了整整1个星期。未来丈母娘对我印象非常好，朋友圈里天天晒旅行的照片，末尾不忘加一句谢谢小波的贴心安排。可以说这次旅行加速了我和毛利的感情。行程最后一天，我请他们娘俩吃了顿将近3000块的海鲜。未来丈母娘边吃边咂舌，话里有话地说，小波，你1个月挣多少？这有点奢侈了吧，要学会过日子啊。凭良心说，我之所以舍得花钱，还不是为了讨好他们娘俩。可适得其反，我给丈母娘留下了不会过日子的画饼，以至于我和毛利因为钱吵架时，她总要旧事重提。习惯性用语是，我妈早就说过，你花钱大手大脚，不会过日子。我承认，婚前我是一人吃饱全家不饿的心态，但自从和毛利恋爱后，我改变了许多。每月工资一发，就强迫自己理财，狐朋狗友喊我出去玩，能推就推。除此之外，我还把烟戒了，以至于哥们儿都说，谈恋爱后你整个人转性了。其实我是意识到了身上的责任以及生活的压力。半年后我们订婚了，又速战速决定了婚期。我爸妈早就盼着我结婚，提出给我们首付一套大3房。因涉及到房子署名问题，我妈提议先把结婚证领了，这样房子算婚后共同财产。至于月供，她对毛利说，小波大手大脚惯了，存不住钱，以后要付月供，他就有压力了，自然也能学会过日子。这话逻辑上没毛病，毛利和父母都没有异议。就这样挑了个好日子，我们欢欢喜喜把证领了。接下来买房子也是按毛利的喜好，无论是小区还是户型，哪怕他挑的房子就在娘家隔壁，我也没有半点意见。那段时间我和毛利都觉得事事皆顺，这姻缘还是不错的。谁能想到打脸会来得如此之快。临近婚期，毛利突然通过表姐转告我父母想要彩礼。父母打电话问我，房子已经加上他的名，不算彩礼吗？说实话，我也挺意外，因为买了房子，我们家并没有做彩礼的计划。一方面为了买房，父母已经拿出全部积蓄，再无余力；另一方面，我俩都是独生子女，彩礼也就是从左裤兜放到右裤兜的一个形式。但既然他提出来了，我也不想让他们扫兴。那时我已经存了3万多块，加上年底有年终奖，觉得应该够了。于是我告诉爸妈，不用发愁，我能解决。可毛利却说，他家堂姐表姐结婚， 彩礼都是10万起步。我吓了一跳，这婚真有点结不起了。这之后，因为彩礼的事，我和毛利讨论了不下100个回合，都没有谈拢。只要一提彩礼，我们就会吵架。我嫌他狮子大开口，要完房子又要彩礼，这哪是结婚，分明是抢劫。毛利却认为，我家骗他领证，就是为了不给彩礼，一家人心机四海。关于钱的问题，我们像各自守着疆土的战士，寸步不让。与此同时，我父母对毛利也开始有了怨言，当着我的面没少说毛利的坏话。有一次，我妈竟然拿她的身材说事，她也不照照镜子，就那身材，找我儿子这样的还想怎样？说实话，我很不舒服。当初他们生怕再有周折，催着赶快领证，如今证也领了，又说毛利配不上我。可想而知，我虽然不用被逼婚了，但日后的婆媳矛盾肯定够头疼。想到这儿，我心一横，说这婚不结了，大不了去民政局把结婚证换成离婚证。听我这么一说，我妈急了，只喊自己命苦。我家一团乱麻，毛利家也好不到哪里去。他爸60大寿，我买了礼物上门，结果他爸喝多了，当众耍酒疯，说我哄着他女儿领证，原来是打算不给彩礼的主意。亲戚们都在，我面子挂不住，当场和他理论起来，说房子属于共同财产，难道不算彩礼吗？至少他挣了半套房子。他爸猛地一拍桌子，吼道：谁稀罕你那半套房子，你给我滚！毛利也气我不会讲话，把我赶出了门。他说彩礼就是个形式，你家拿多少，我家就会回多少，但没想到我在你心里1分钱都不值。这之后，毛利把我的微信拉黑了，眼见着我们还没办婚礼，就到了离婚的边缘。最后还是我表姐力挽